Chris, I'll edit it, right? You are busy, I think.
Karo sir.
No, I'm asking. If you're not busy, you can take over.
I'm vela only next couple of days. If you want
Then
me
take it
to, so
over.
we'll
Please
decide.
do. I am totally happy to not take any responsibility about anything. When
फैशन की
Amartya,
एडवाइस तो देना बंद करेगा वो इंटरनेट
हाँ?
पे वेस्ट साइड और फैब इंडिया के बारे में.
कौन?
Fashion advice थोड़ी था sir वो.
Acha. Anyways, whatever it is, we can start discussion. आप ही होस्ट कर लो, Chris. आप एडिट कर रहे हो तो या मैं ही करूं?
नहीं आप करो edit,
Listen,
आप
I'm
करो host मैं नहीं कर रहा.
actively seeking a replacement for myself for the podcast.
मेरे
Anyways,
को कितना
Marketing
वेला
head.
समझ रखा है sir.
I don't know. इंटरेस्ट है ना आप में, मेरे पास इंटरेस्ट नहीं है.
आपसे कम वेला हूँ सर, तो आप ही
आप
करो
वेले
पूरा.
कम हो, बट आप में इंटरेस्ट, आपके पास इंटरेस्ट है चीजों का, मेरे पास नहीं है. Anyways,
अभी के लिए रहने
this will
दो,
go in the
start
episode,
करो.
of course.
You are putting it, I'm not doing it.
No, you are editing it. I'm hosting it. We just discussed this. Anyway,
So much drama going on before the drama. How nice.
Alright, so before we got married, we did this thing where we said the worst thing we've ever done.
Thing? I'll tell mine if we all do it. Promise?
What did you do?
This dog.
Beer bottles and porn.
You left him there overnight.
Yeah.
What's the worst thing I've ever done?
Okay,
Are you serious?
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna order an Uber.
Emma, what the
Varun, where's your sound effect?
Bad joke. Very bad joke, yaar. Srilekha, you have to try better. It's terrible.
Better
Varun
than
is
you
a
do.
joke expert. Yeah.
Dhruv के jokes खराब होते हैं, ये उससे भी खराब था.
I
How
am not an
wonderful.
expert in that.
Anyways, hello. Sorry, go ahead, Srilekha. You were saying something.
No, I was saying I'm not
Okay.
an expert in all these. So yeah,
Okay, fine.
fine.
जादू मंतर जादू मंतर जादू मंतर You are going into the future.
You talking to me?
Ain't always BBC closing.
The queen is dead.
Hello. Welcome to a very special episode of Queen is Dead. Special in the sense of the people we have on the panel, not in terms of the film we are discussing. Though one can argue that maybe in terms of the film we are discussing also. But this is a fairly impromptu discussion we decided to have because after the Oscars we didn't know what to talk about. So we've been tackling weekly releases that are not Dhurandhar or anything of that ilk. Because we don't like to get people listening to us and abusing us. Anyways, this is our attempt to get abused in not that sense, but in a sort of, verbal whatever. Anyways, I'm going to mess this up. But let me introduce you to all the wonderful people who are on this panel. Two of them are not so wonderful because they appear as much as I do. So they need no introductions. One of them is Cris, who has hosted the podcast regularly and is soon to be my replacement. Hi, Cris. How are you?
I'm good, sir.
And he's had a very eventful day today, which he will explain to us his stance on certain films very clearly.
So will you, my friend. So
Yeah,
will
but you have more at stake. I don't. And the other person we have is Mr. Varun, who is invisible today to us. So we are, very unlucky. It's a
Indeed.
very unfortunate day for all of us who are here. How are you, Varun?
Hello, Dhruv. I am good. I wish the drama had also been good.
I didn't introduce the movie. What a spoiler, Varun.
Indeed. It's almost like you didn't put it in the episode description or the title, right?
Are you telling that you're blaming me for not building up suspense, essentially? Oh no, for me building up suspense, but
Hitchcock, so
I'm the Yeah, I love Hitchcock. I'm the Hitchcock of the podcasting world. That's my moniker. Yeah. Anyways, hi Varun. You didn't need to throw any tana at me. You could have just said hi and fucked off. Anyways,
Sir, I told you, aapko tana marna is the lifeblood of this podcast. Just get used to it.
I will not. The other two, yeah, I told them that the previous episode, if anyone has listened to, unfortunately, has more mentions of me than I have ever heard in my life. So I don't know what to make of that. Uh,
Yeah, like
uh,
Dhruv didn't get gossiped about this much in high school by like girls in the water cooler
ever. Middle
or
of
guys in the water cooler.
my parents don't call me this much in a week. The amount of times you've called me out in that podcast episode.
I think
Anyways,
we
if
should
you
make your parents cinephiles. Then
please
they'll come.
don't. They are cinephiles. They just are not good cinephiles, whatever that means. But anyways, the
Peak
other two
detailing
people.
वाले cinephiles है क्या?
नहीं उतने नहीं है sir. Luckily नहीं है. But anyways, for as you can hear, the other voice that you heard right now actually came not that far back also, because we just released the episode before this, the 4 hour long
Oh
episode,
yeah.
which if you want to listen to, you can. I
And
think one
this is
of
the man who criticizes my podcast for long episodes. How dare you?
yeah, because all of them are long and they take like 9
Not the
hours
one
to
with
record.
Aryan. So really, it might be your problem, Dhruv.
It's my
The one with
problem, of
Aryan is 2
course.
hours long.
Okay, Varun, please shut up.
It took QID to discuss a borderline problematic film to finally
No,
bring
okay,
me
so
back
that's what I
on.
was about to say. Like, I was about to say the 4 hour episode we have is on, like, the discussions in that are at least some of the most extensive discussions we've had on films of that kind. So I actually quite enjoy it, but sure, people, I'm just plugging it here. Aryan was part of that episode. He's back again to discuss what Varun has already spoiled, which is Kristoffer Borgli's mildly successful, and especially, I guess, successful in terms of uh, discussions it's generated within sort of cinephile circles that I'm part of, where so Aryan's here because I needed someone who would really like the movie, because all of us are mildly cold on it otherwise. So Aryan's here for this episode. Hi Aryan, how are you? How is the US of A?
It's as good and problematic as this movie. Let's just leave it at
Sure, perfect.
that.
Very concise. See, Varun, learn. And Srilekha,
He has to
yeah.
be concise. He's a brown man in a country like the USA.
I have to
He'll be
get my
accused of
points
taking up
across.
digital real estate if he speaks too much.
Okay. And the final panelist we have is the one who's appeared about 1.5 years before this, I think.
Yes.
Is
And Michael Haneke's,
Michael Haneke's, which me and Srilekha were part of, and
which was also problematic.
No, he's a moralist, I think, more than, I mean,
No,
this
the
is.
films we discussed were mildly problematic.
Achha, the one which you unconditionally love is, yes, which is The Piano Teacher.
Yes.
If you want to listen
Yes.
to Srilekha wax lyrical about that, you can please check out the Hanaka episode.
Yeah,
But
please.
Srilekha is back here for another problematic movies. You should realize that now
Always
that
liking problems. Yeah.
she loves this. So whatever next is being made by Paul Schrader, we'll have her on. Okay, or whatever. I don't know who's a problematic filmmaker. Who's not actually at this point. But anyways, long-winded intro.
Joel
but
Cohen.
Siddharth
sure,
Anand.
please don't. I will not be part of that episode. Firstly, so you will have to deal with only Varun and Amartya. So best of luck, Srilekha.
Just
Anyways,
Amartya, you think I'm going to give that bugger another chance after that lighter or fighter or whatever tighter he made?
lighter, not lighter. Anyways, going from fighter to something, I don't know how to transition from fighter to freaking Kristoffer
Something
Borgli.
less abrasive, but also
Very
weird.
egregious. Yes. Anyways, so the movie in discussion is the drama, and I don't think we usually do this, but we're going to talk about Kristoffer Borgli, the director. He's the director and writer of the drama, and co-editor of the drama. It's co-edited by Joshua Raymond Lee. It stars Zendaya, Robert Pattinson, Alana Haim, Mamadou Athi, and there's a bunch of other people also in it, mostly in cameo roles. The main, I would say, the quartet is these four. And of course, the film is, I think, the protagonist of the film is very much Robert Pattinson, and Zendaya is the lead, but I would argue almost a supporting lead as opposed to a lead performer. Anyways, it's an interesting film, I think, on a number of levels, in the sense that it's the kind of mature drama, like adult drama, that you don't get in mainstream like it's on the border of art house and mainstream in many ways, and you don't get this sort of film as frequently nowadays, and you don't get this sort of film doing well as frequently too. Which this has done reasonably well. I think it's made on a budget of 28 million, and it made back 28 million worldwide in the first weekend, which is a big enough deal for this sort of film. It's we're going to discuss this, but it belongs to a lineage of films which are, I think, which I might recommend at the end of this episode. But there's a lot of films it reminded me of when I watched it, and we'll discuss how it sort of pairs in comparison to them. It's also an A24 film. We've fairly discussed a lot of A24 films on this podcast, so good on them for making films which we want to discuss, I guess. Anyways, this is the other crew members here are the one returning from the last episode, which was Daniel Pemberton, which is a very interesting thing where if you want to compare a sound like the music and how different his music is here than it was in Project Hail Mary. You can do a nice sort of contrast of them. And the DOP, who we've all been trying to pronounce the name of, and every one of us will take a shot at it, is called Arseny. We'll call him Arseny, actually. Let's just stick to first names, shouldn't we? Because I think he's Belarusian, and we don't want to destroy his surname unless someone wants to try here. Is anyone...
Except Zendaya, which is like...
Yeah, what is Zendaya? Like, what is there anywhere? Before, after, I don't know.
Before, after, not first name, last name. Before, after.
Before, after. No, but no. Cris, do you want to try with the surname of the DOP?
I'm good. Thank you very much.
Okay. Aryan, do you want to try? All of you can say no. It's fine.
No.
Okay. Srilekha?
I don't want to be bashed by I don't want to be bashed by Borun. That's why I'm not going to try. Yeah. If I pronounce, he will come up with something telling that it's not like that.
Bash you about
Let me first connect with the correct pronunciation of Varun.
It's
I'm not
Borun.
Varun or Borun. I'm Varun. Anyway.
Varun only I said.
No,
what?
you said Borun.
See? Oh man, no, Varun. Sorry. Oh
Okay.
man. See, again he started. Oh my God.
Varun, do you want to take a shot at pronunciation?
No, I respect the DOP more than I respect any of my co-panelists.
How wonderful.
Wow.
So we'll just stick to
That's
the DOP.
the only correct answer.
Yeah, we'll just stick to DOP, Arseny. You have done a good job, sir. So that is all we can say. Though I have some complaints, not complaints, but questions about lighting, which I'll ask you guys. Anyways, so this is all the sort of setup of the film itself, but the film itself, for people who are unfamiliar, and this I've taken from IMDb, is simple premise: a happily engaged couple is put to test when an unexpected turn of events sends their wedding week off the rails, which is a good way to describe what it is, while keeping the central reveal of the film also intact. If people want to know more about said reveal, they can, I think, find enough descriptions online if they want like a trigger warning or anything, which we'll actually, why don't you guys discuss that first here rather than, us circling back in and out, and then we'll talk about Kristoffer Borgli and the interesting things he's done in his life. So yes. Anyways, no, so I think Varun and Srilekha both brought my attention to the marketing and reception, both in some ways, of the drama. And A24, we've discussed before with some films, especially horror films, how notoriously mismarketed their horror films are, which leads to a massive divergence in sort of your audience and critical score on whatever platforms which are there. So yeah, Srilekha, you can start us up a little bit on the whole, the promotional material of the drama and all the stuff which you said sort of caught your attention.
So like when I started watching, the name itself had some premonition. So I started watching, I was just waiting because the drama. So even though it is showing that it's about a happy wedding, a couple, something will happen, some topsy-turvy thing will happen. But the one thing which I noticed, like in the beginning, like how when they were interacting for the first time, Charlie and Emma. Charlie is Robert Pattinson and Emma is Zendaya. So they meet in a cafe and she was reading this book, The Damage. by Harper Ellison,
Is
as
this
far as
with
I
the
remember.
trailer?
I know. I'm just telling about my movie experience. I'm not talking about the trailer, the movie.
Okay, no, I was thinking more we'll first discuss the promotional material and then talk about the film, like that way. Like you said,
Then
na, about
Varun can
the.
take.
Okay, Varun, take
Yeah,
over.
tell me.
Varun, take over.
Varun,
No,
take
no,
over then.
you were
Varun.
talking about the video and all that, no, of the Zendaya's marriage and all that stuff.
Oh,
Anyways,
that.
Varun, you can take
Yeah.
over. You were being the why are they marketing it like this person here?
Yeah, so the way I watched the trailer was theatrically, because I wouldn't have otherwise, I think, heard of the film except for the grapevine.
Yeah.
And it was being pushed as this very sort of prickly relationship drama. And I don't think it is so much about the relationship as it is about having to live with the facts of your partner's life. You can call that a relationship drama, but over here, the gravity of those facts. So, should I just put the spoiler out there here, I guess?
Sure, go for it. It's an all spoiler discussion.
Yeah,
For
this is
people
an
who
all
are.
spoiler discussion. This is both a trigger warning and a spoiler warning.
Yeah.
The film, the big twist in the film, as
Twist.
Dhruv
It's not a twist. It's a
mentioned,
reveal.
it is it's a reveal, really. Yeah, is that Zendaya's character Emma, as a teenager, had considered shooting up her school, and had done all the prep, had made a video, had gotten a rifle, done all of that stuff, only to not go through with it at the last moment. So to call it a simple relationship drama or to market it that way is misleading, simply because school shootings are such a tragic reality in America, and the film has caught flack for that, for the fact that it misleads to the extent that people going in could be victims of a school shooting or related to victims of a school shooting or just sensitive to the material.
Sure.
And then they had this sprung on them.
Sure.
Now, I know
But
a
then
lot of
how
people
do you
who
think,
think movies are sensitive.
no, but how do you think a film like this then goes about, presenting itself while maintaining that intrigue and mystery about it? I'm just asking you because I can't think, I'm very fine with the A24 mismarketing because I watch their films regardless in most cases. I don't really care about what they're marketing it as. But I'm sure,
I
yeah,
don't
what
think
the point
marketing is meant for people who consume cinema anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's meant for people who are casual watchers of cinema.
Yeah.
And it's meant to
Lure
entice
them
them.
in.
We will go or not go in any case.
Yeah.
So.
But do you think people would have they also kept it away because then people would have turned off the idea of going for the film itself because it's about school shootings?
I think there's a couple of sensitive things over here, right? First of all, Zendaya's a woman of color, so the idea that she's the one carrying out the school shooting would have naturally become like something that people would have flagged very early on.
Yeah.
Rightly or wrongly, I'm not commenting on that. It would just have gotten flagged because and the film does address this, a large majority of school shooters tend to be white males.
Yeah.
I'm not sure whether the film could have done it any differently. I just know that without giving away the reveal, the film could have sold itself in a slightly different manner.
Sure.
Not necessarily gone down the route of this is a fun, frothy, little hint of prickly going on kind of thing.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's more like a whatever, which is my transition point actually. Like it's not your typical Woody Allen movie in the sense that the drama is not centered around sort of personal relationships simply on the basis of infidelity being the central thing, which is a running theme in a lot of these types of New York stories or New York films, which are about relationships and all that. So the idea is, I think people were meant to believe in a way that it's more in line with them as opposed to what it turns out to be. What about, I know we've talked, not we, Chris and fellow fan Ashwin have talked about After the Hunt a fair bit. Fellow fan of the director, sorry, not of the film. But do you think this lies closer in spirit to that than sort of your more your Woody Allen things, and maybe it would have benefited from it promoting itself as that?
I think possibly so, just because while I understand what Varun is saying, when I saw the promotional material, I was expecting the reveal to actually be something closer to what After the Hunt is centered around.
Sure.
Because that is at least the tone which I got from it, and which is why the I was a bit like weirded out almost by the reveal, because then we'll discuss how it's treated. But the severity or the tone of it to me veered much closer to something like After the Hunt. So going for something similar to that, I think would have made much more sense to me
Okay.
at least. Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
I
Aryan,
think
Srilekha,
the promotional, the marketing was like really brilliant in a way that it's like it it was emulating a lot of very contemporary Pinteresty aesthetic to drive the audience, and just for the fact that it has Patterson and Zendaya as leads, they knew that that would be enough of a selling point if we package it in a certain way. Which again, people like us who are used to the tone and the kind of twist and turns that A24 films, especially the dramas of A24,
Yeah.
similar genre tend to make, we knew going in to expect something like that. Not only that, not only do I think the marketing was genius because it's not giving out anything, of course, yes, on the semblance of it, but B, it's also not distancing a lot of the demographic in terms of the audience who would actually tune into the movie,
Yeah.
because it also sits in the themes and the past films and all the issues that the director has himself dealt with in his previous films, especially Sick of Myself, which was one of the first films I saw from this director,
Sure.
which is, it's also sitting into his into his style of filmmaking and the themes he combats. And that way, it's very clear if you watch his other films that
This is,
this
sorry,
issue
just
is
to mention,
not
Sick of Myself and Dream Scenario are the two
Dream
other.
Scenario as well. And
Dream
even,
Scenario is produced by A24 also, right?
I think so. It was distributed at
Not
least by
produced, sorry,
A24.
distributed by A24.
Yeah.
My fault, yeah.
So I think like it also sits, not only that the marketing was genius just because it was like trying to do something very different, like say less and like just lure in the people just based on the aesthetic and the promos. Not only that, it also sits very well in the director's filmmaking rule, because I think like personally, the kind of films he's made, he doesn't have an issue with cancel culture itself, but the fact that people tend to go into consuming a certain kind of art form or art, already having or making up predetermined notions about what to expect from that. So I think that's why it was really clever. At least that's what I had thought in terms of the marketing and the promos of this film. And that's when when the twist, when the actual reveal happens,
Yeah.
it's
I
like,
mean,
oh,
I
of
just
course
want to
you're
push
going there.
back against the twist word, but it's not a twist. Just to like
It's a reveal because
drive a distinction between twist and reveal, because I think
it
they're
becomes
fairly
a
different things.
catalyst for all
Yeah.
the themes. It's like a kitchen hot. It's like a
But then
hot
it's
pot, right? Like
something
it's
unexpected only, no? Like when you see
But a
the promo
twist
and
is like
everything, we don't
turning
expect
around.
like.
Sorry, go ahead. Finish it. I'm just going to say afterwards.
Yeah, so when I see the trailer, I don't expect this kind of revelation will happen, like something
Sure.
related to shooting or anything. Maybe something related to psychological, I felt like some psychological unnerving will be there, but not this kind of revelation. Though psychological unnerving is there in the film, but then that connected with mass shootings and like that was something which I was not like expecting. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was a bit surprising.
So
It was
I
not a
think
twist.
what you are saying, and I think what Varun is also saying, is that the revelation is made to look like a twist almost, because it's marketed in a way
Yeah.
where it feels severe. Because the revelation, it doesn't
the revelation
upend your
is dealt
expectation
in a
because it
way
doesn't
that
set
it's
those
not.
expectations. Yeah.
He
And the
never. I
most
think
part,
that
yeah, finish.
Sorry,
Borgli
Aryan, go
never
ahead.
tries
Then.
to. Borgli never tries to sanitize the insanity and the inbound hypocrisies of his protagonist. That's why it's such a shocker when that reveal happens in the film, that it's literally like a rug being pulled under our feet.
Sure.
And that's the impression. I think that was very deliberate.
Sure.
The
Sure.
way
Sure.
it's revealed,
Done.
and that's why like
Yeah.
when we go back and forth, Alana Haim's character literally becomes our audience surrogate, because we are reacting to the situation the way she does. But then we also have to understand
Are
that
we
she's a
though?
very
That's the other
privileged.
thing.
I think a lot of
Okay.
people are, yeah.
Okay.
At
So
least the
we'll
ones
discuss.
in my audience.
So
But yeah.
we'll discuss all this because it's interesting, because my reaction was very steadfast from the moment the revelation happens, and it never changed. Is my big issue with the drama. But anyways, before this drama, the other drama, we should go on to first. Chris, do the honors. What is the other? Actually, no, Varun. Who is the one who brought it? Both of you do the honors, because both of you were like, you are the two people who mentioned that the relationship in the film was icky for you because you had known about this fairly extensively before watching the film. So please reveal what to
A
reveal. Just tell us
specific
what.
aspect of it. So
Sure.
Yeah.
when Borgli cuts to this idea of Pattinson's character played by Pattinson and Zendaya's character played by the
Pattinson's
child
character
actor.
played by Pattinson. Yeah,
Yeah, so
nice.
Zendaya's character played by the child actor
Okay, that
together.
way you're saying.
Yeah, those are the scenes that sat really
Ah,
uneasy
okay.
with me. Because I was
But
like,
the film isn't endorsing it. It's being very like satirical about it, right?
no, it's depicting. I don't know whether I don't think it endorses. I think it depicts. But to me, it's still a bit disturbing that this is where his mind went, especially in light of the essay which talks about his relationship at the age of 27 with a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
Which, to inform our viewers, was in Norway, so where the age of consent is 16. So it is consensual, but I would argue it is creepy as fuck. As a 27-year-old man, I don't even want to be talking to 20-year-olds, let alone a
But sir,
16.
it's not about you, na?
No, it's not. But I think you should have an understanding of like how well mentally developed a person is, and he clearly
How does
did not.
Borgli try to justify this? Is my other question.
I think he just passes it off as a romance. That's his whole. He treats it very matter of factly.
Yeah,
which is again a bit of a it's a bit of a red flag is what the youth call it.
I mean, you won't date him, so it's fine. He's.
I wouldn't date him regard because I'm straight, so like he's not appealing to me on that basis. But
wow,
what?
It's fine. It's fine. He's
no, but
I just think the idea that the age gap should be excused at that particular age. I'm not saying 11 years is an objectively bad age gap. I'm saying a 27-year-old dating a 16-year-old is a problem.
Sure. Okay.
And dating. He's not just sleeping with this kid.
Yeah. It was a summer. It wasn't a. Was it a? Does he describe it as a fling or does he describe it as a beautiful?
He described it as a romance only. Like it's fairly lyrical almost.
Okay.
So
Chris, go ahead, which will
so
also make us jump into Mr. Allen's wonderful film.
Yeah,
The
so
wonderful
thing
is not sarcastic.
I wasn't my thing wasn't that, I was creeped out or anything. It was just that it's an image when I remember I was a bit surprised when it cut to that image of Zendaya. So in the film there's a scene of Pattinson and Zendaya as was walking together and they swap Zendaya out with the child actor. So you have an adult Pattinson and the child actor together in those scenes. I was like, this is an odd image, and I had at the back of my mind because I had not read the blog
child
post.
actor is played by Jordan Curet. That's her name.
Yeah, Jordan Curet. So the thing is, I hadn't. So what happened was that Borgli had written a blog post about this at the time when this a relationship.
It's in Norwegian only. Someone else. I read the translation on.
Yeah. So
Reddit.
it
was
had
basically a newspaper column, right? Sorry.
No, was it a column or was it just his blog?
I thought it was a blog post. I could be wrong.
Okay.
But some journalist had dug it up before the film released, and so there was a bit of discourse. I mean, for some reason, I basically saw no discourse about this film on my timeline at all, which is very surprising. But this was one of the articles that came up, and I hadn't read the article at the time, but there was something at the back of my mind that, okay, knowing this information, looking at this image is odd. I'm not making I'm not saying a judgment whether the film is endorsing it or Borgli saying anything about it. It's just an interesting or an odd image once you know this background. But yeah, so in the piece, and again, more than my qualm with the relationship, which is another matter, is the piece itself, which is a really odd and unself-aware quote-unquote reflection or justification of the relationship that he had with this young woman, and he's sort of rationalizing or sort of, I had this conflict about it, but then he says, and I watched a film like Woody Allen's Manhattan, and the film, spoke about a relationship like this so matter-of-factly that I was able to come to terms with it, which Aryan, having watched the film, and Dhruv and I, having just watched the film today, find extremely odd given according to us, relatively sane reading of Woody Allen's Manhattan will not or should not bring you to such conclusions. Is at least is my
I mean, the
my
film
take.
to me, so just to say, I mean, we've not talked about Mr. Allen's work in general, and we try not to just because you know what the Allen situation is. That doesn't change the fact that Aryan is a huge fan of Allen's films, whatever he's seen. I'm a pretty big fan of whatever work of his I've seen. Chris
Even
is.
honestly, even
Hmm.
his lesser known
Huh,
films,
I like
I
whatever
love.
I've seen.
Like even something as recent as films that he made, honestly, after all the controversies came
Hmm.
out, some of the European studios that still stood by him.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, that's his. I know it's problematic as hell.
Hmm.
And that's like one more distinction I want to make when
Hmm.
compared to someone like Alan
Hmm.
versus Borgli over here. But we'll
Hmm.
get there. We'll get into the
Sure.
details later on. But for me, like
Hmm.
even something as the film that he did with Javier Bardem and Scarlett Johansson, I don't even
Oh, Vicky
remember the name of
Cristina
the film, but
Barcelona, right? Yeah.
I love that film. And
Yeah, yeah.
Manhattan for me is always going to be like top tier
Manhattan
Woody
for
Allen.
me has become one of my favorite films,
Oh yeah,
or
for me
rom-coms
it's
at least.
up there with Annie Hall for me.
Yeah. I need to
Yeah.
rewatch that,
Vicky
but anyways,
Cristina Barcelona, I watched it. It's so good.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But I mean, my point was only to bring Alan because we want to talk about Manhattan because it relates
Oh, no, of course, yeah.
relates to this. And so, Chris, you can say
When
a little bit.
I read the
No, go ahead,
yeah, carry
Srilekha.
on, carry. Oh, when I read the article, it reminded me of Leon the Professional.
Okay, I have not seen
Some
Leon the
extent.
Professional, so you guys, Varun, you can chip in.
Because
You have read it, so you've read it.
because
No, you watched it, so.
Bresson has the same kind of
Besson, right?
relationship.
Not Bresson. Luc Besson, right?
Besson.
Besson. I was like,
Besson.
don't bring Robert Bresson into this. He will be offended. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry if I
No, it's
mispronounced.
fine.
Yeah.
No.
Besson. So Besson had also the same kind of relationship with some girl, and then like he made this like the character of Natalie Portman. So it instantly reminded me when I read the piece. It reminded me of Lolita to some extent, and all these.
Don't mention
all
that
these kind.
movie, which will make me and Chris lose my mind.
No. Actually, reminded me of the novel more than the movie because I read
Okay.
it.
Okay.
The Nabokov's work.
Oh,
So-
no.
so-
I was mentioning Phantom Thread. Don't mention because me and Chris will lose it.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm not bringing it. Sorry.
Okay. So Lolita, yeah, of course, Lolita is the other
Lolita
big,
and also
right.
Leon the Professional to some extent.
Sure.
Because they're also that kind of not romance, but then a kind of attachment, but that becomes a romantic bond only in the end. Both of them. There are a lot
Varun?
of controversy over one scene that gets cut. That is
There is
like
one
censored,
scene
I guess.
that's cut, right?
Yeah,
It's a
that
big
is
thing, I
censored.
think,
Yeah.
about it. I've
Yeah,
not seen
big
it.
thing.
I'm waiting for King to release for me to watch this before that. Anyways,
Oh,
Varun, you were saying.
man.
Oh wow.
No, I mean, I didn't really think of Leon the Professional when I
Okay. You
read
also
the
don't
essay,
like the
simply
movie,
because
right?
it's a compelling action film, but
Okay.
the drama is kind of done to death.
Okay.
And, like, Gary
Okay,
Oldman's fantastic, Natalie Portman's fantastic, Jean Reno is fantastic, but that they're just like, to me, they're elements in a film. Like the film
Okay.
on the whole doesn't work.
So no,
But
I
anyway,
just wanted
what
to
I just
your
want to
whole
say is
thing,
that it doesn't like simply because I'm not well read enough on Besson and his action. I know he has faced charges. He's not been convicted of anything as yet. But maybe to me, it's just inherently creepy for a 27-year-old
Have you
man.
seen
It's my
Lolita or read
personal comment.
Lolita?
I've not known. Lolita is banned in our house, so
Okay,
I've
fine.
never bothered to pursue.
Okay. So yeah, back to briefly to Manhattan, and then we'll move on. But yeah, Manhattan, Chris, and Aryan, what do you think of it? Do you think it's the same what Mr. Borgli thinks? Because when I watched it today, I was like, no, but see, this is the thing, and which is why I'll draw the counter to the drama. Manhattan is the type of film that I can understand if someone comes away from thinking that it justifies that relationship between a minor and Woody Allen's character. It is a movie which has enough openness to it for me to see people finding a way to justify their actions, coming to that conclusion. But on the other hand, I think the film is very much about the failings of this man as opposed to
And he has to confront with the the consequences of his shitty behavior, and like he
Yeah.
has to pay that price in terms of losing all the relationships at that
Yeah.
crucial stage in his life. It is very much about navigating your own voice as an artist in a city
Yeah.
in New York, and that's exactly why the black and white theme, it's not just an aesthetic, it's very much
Oh
the
yeah.
total themes of
It's
the movie,
yeah.
and it's done beautifully. But again, the only thing that I would like to say, distinguishing both Manhattan and something as contemporary as the drama, that looking at Manhattan now, in the light of everything that's come out about Mr. Allen in the past decade or so, you could very much look at it like even upon subsequent rewatch, even as someone who's like 30 or 40 or 50 who grew up loving Manhattan. I mean, I could very well see a lot of people, like most of the people belonging to that ilk, watching or rewatching that rather and going like, oh, fuck, this makes so much more sense now, and I cannot like sit comfortably through this. Versus again, this is where I get to go delve, put on my tinfoil hat, and tend to make these controversial statements compared to the drama where it's very deliberately something from like 10, 15 years back is being dug up right before his new film
Sure.
comes out. Doesn't mean it's not negating the gravity of the situation or whatever happened, but it's very tailor-made to destroy or disrupt or take down this artist's new film or any art form it may be. Like even if it's someone else, it's very reverse engineered in this specific way because it
Sure.
wants to create that chaos on Twitter among cinephiles and the cultural. That's my main distinguish. And
But
you
but
cannot
Aryan,
like.
sorry,
Mhm.
yeah, go ahead. Complete.
No. Tell me. That's it. That's it.
I want to push back on that slightly because we heard the same line of sort of logic being taken when the Josh Safdie allegations came out in the run-up to the Oscars,
Yeah.
right? Where he knew that a convicted felon on his set had been allowed near an underage woman, or underage girl, really. It's not
Yeah.
fair to call an underage person a woman. And somebody had exposed themselves to her. And how nothing had been done about it, and even Benny Safdie had kept quiet about it all this while because Josh apparently runs the Safdie sets as the sort of older sibling, presumably. And I don't know. I think whilst of course there's some motivation, surely I think it's fine for that motivation to exist to bring down the filmmaker because
Yeah.
ultimately what's wrong is wrong, and that the gravity of that wrong is still sort of more dire than the idea that this filmmaker is being brought down.
And it's also kind of an attention economy thing, right? Like if you brought it up at any other point, nobody's going to
Yeah.
pay attention
I
to
know.
it,
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
the severity of the issue is not going to get addressed. It takes
Address
talking.
तो वैसे भी नहीं होता mostly. Just
I'm
saying.
saying even
हाँ.
like people having it in their, address now, people having it in their public consciousness, at
हाँ.
least some people being allowed to make the choice of whether they want to support this artist or not. Like there's a reason why accusations of many kinds and all come at the height of
During
people's
this, of course.
popularity.
Yeah.
So, or when they're like majorly at like, they're in any kind of, light, whether good or bad, so that it gets some kind
More
of
traction.
attention in how
Yeah.
some kind of traction in our kind of attention economy, because this will also get for like the Josh Safdie thing
Forgotten.
did basically nothing. It got forgotten. Apparently some of it was already known in the past and it was just more elaborated
Okay.
now. So the thing is, it's not going to happen, but at least being aware of that, if the aim is that people should be aware of this thing, people should be able to make informed decisions, then it's probably the best time for it to come out in that kind of a perspective, is what I think.
Sure.
But
but
for me, like
But
personally as a
anything-
viewer, for me, that's why like like honestly, regardless of my love for Woody Allen's films, honestly, if I were to rewatch, especially a film like Manhattan right now, I would genuinely be like uncomfortable at certain
you will,
points.
I cannot
Not
tell
at
you.
the fact
No,
that
but can I tell you
not
one
at the
thing?
I would actually be more uncomfortable at the fact that it's so clear what he's getting at. It's he's putting himself out there, which is courageous, but also problematic as fuck. But that wouldn't be the main issue for me watching or rewatching it right now. It would be, oh damn, I am still liking this a lot. And that's that's on me. The onus
No,
is on me.
but
Compared
so
to something like the drama where I honestly feel having watched Sick of Myself, I was one of the few people like again like Dhruv, if you remember, I watched that at Mami, and we had discussed it right
Did
after I
you?
came back. I did,
Okay.
yeah, I
Sir,
did.
we watched
I
a lot of
actually did.
nonsense. So yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, like, and now that I know what sphere, what kind of tangent
Sure.
he's functioning on, I fundamentally think his films are about the complex nature of the hypocrisy that we are finding ourselves more and more increasingly surrounded by in the current cultural landscape.
Sure.
It's about the fundamental
Very
self-aware
Lanthimosian
hypocrisy.
then.
Oh, extremely. And even
Hmm.
like it's fundamentally about the absurdity of modern social behavior, right? Which again,
Sure.
someone like Woody
Which
Allen
Arya
was
still has
once hailed
produced
upon.
this, so you can also extrapolate to Midsommar and Eddington and
Yeah.
whatever you want to. So sure, you're putting it closer to that. My point was just that if you see Manhattan, see, for me, one of the great things about great films, and I include Mr. So I'm doing the Mr. routine with people who I don't will probably not talk about more. I don't know. I prefer to take a more Mr. tone to them, I guess. But Mr. Polanski's Chinatown, uh, if I rewatch it today, the thing is, we know facts, right? Before and now we see the fiction after we know the facts. Watching Manhattan today, after knowing whatever stuff has gone down with Mr. Allen, it's incredible. It's kind of insane to me how much it kind of foreshadows firstly what happens, but more than that, to me it's a recognition of, I guess this is the other thing, like I guess we don't see it as often in film nowadays, the recognition of one's own um incapabilities to deal with the stuff around them in a brutally honest way, which is also humorous. Like, the thing is, it's a film which allows itself to be misinterpreted, which I don't think the drama is. Which is my other, like, crucial difference with the drama, is that Manhattan is a film which I can watch and come up with an interpretation that would be totally different from what maybe one of you comes up and like watches and comes up with. And it's not a film trying to do that. It's not trying to be something which is like, I want to generate discourse where person to person has like a different interpretation. It's a film which is about a person's life and their thoughts. And in expressing that, it becomes all these things where you can have a different impression of it than I do. And that is the essence of a great film in many ways, where you can think about it in wildly divergent opinions. Like some people think it's crassly misogynist, some people think it's incredibly sort of, it's not pseudo, like it encourages his sort of infantile sort of almost pedophilia, like in a way. But to me, I just think it's so self-aware and critical about it that I can't
But
see
Dhruv,
it.
That's the no. Varun, go ahead, please.
sorry, Chris, sorry, Dhruv.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how much of it is self-awareness, how much of it is them cocking a snook at people that meant this is
It's
what
not
I am.
cockiness. No.
I mean,
I
no,
think it's
cocking a
a
snook
lot
does
of
not need to be
cockiness as
overtly
well.
cocky. I think it
Yeah.
can just be, I am going to depict this. This is
Yeah.
my reality. What the fuck are you going to do about it? Because look at Polanski, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Chinatown, I think, came out in 74.
Yeah.
The whole rape and him fleeing America happens 3 years later.
Yeah.
It's not like those ideas are foreign to him. So
Yeah.
the whole idea of so much of crime can be heat of the moment
Hmm.
is kind of ridiculous. It's basically him saying these ideas I already have theoretically.
Hmm.
I can put them into practice and test the limits of the law.
Hmm.
And then fuck you to whoever wants to try and mess with me, because that's what
I
he's
think
managed to
you're
do. He's
no,
gotten
but
away with
I
it.
understand that, and I think the fact that a lot of these people have turned out to be monsters colors that opinion in that way. I just think watching the film, I just got the impression of someone very honestly expressing their misgivings and feelings, not in a way to show off what they can get away with. But anyways, Chris, you
No,
can.
but what I was
So
saying is
anyway, carry on.
I was
Yeah.
saying that the thing about Manhattan is obviously now I'm saying this now again knowing the allegation is it's darkly self-aware, right? It's that self-awareness is so like again the comedy for me is the fact that to me Borgli, like has a severe problem with a lack of self-awareness.
Hmm.
Both in the article or the blog post that he wrote, and to me, to a certain extent, with the filmmaking itself, or a kind of self-awareness which is inadequate to truly be able to critically examine what he's doing. Where like
So
even with
can I just briefly
huh,
interrupt you? And I guess it helps that the fact that Woody Allen plays himself in the film, and Borgli doesn't play himself in his film. So there's that element to it. But with Pattinson's character in the drama, I think Borgli is laughing at him.
Yeah.
In Woody Allen's film, he is laughing and crying with his character. That's the crucial difference, I think,
Hmm.
between the two, where it's like, and the crying is there in a way which I think is very, very important,
Hmm.
which is my whole Vertigo thing also. The fact that it's romantic is what makes the final thing about it devastating. The romance
Hmm.
has wrought in it, which is the same thing, I think, with Manhattan in that sense that the romanticism for that city and that place and for everything is there. But the opening monologue is as much about romance as it is about decay. And the fact that the film is about decay of all sorts in many ways, of moralities collapsing, of everything collapsing. Anyways, Chris, sorry, you were saying.
no,
Yeah.
so I was saying, so what you're saying is right. Like Bogley is laughing at Pattinson, but Woody Allen is laughing. I mean, you can say laughing or crying, but at himself, right, to a certain
Hmm.
extent. And even if Varun, what you're saying could be valid, and even if
Hmm.
you took that interpretation, I think there is something to be admired, and even if you're entirely disgusted in Alan's
Hmm.
self-awareness,
Hmm.
I think in his ability or in his desire or whatever it may be to really go at himself as
Hmm.
intensely as he does in that film, especially
Hmm.
in the light of what's come out. Like,
Yeah.
even if
Hmm.
that is, telling the audience that this is what I can get away with, I mean,
Hmm.
there's something to be said in as it may be in utter disgust that okay, you
Hmm.
you recognize that so fundamentally, which to me with a film like the drama and or with Bogley's piece or what he writes in his particular interpretation of the film, which is what was at contention, is the fact that that is entirely missed. Like,
Yeah.
I felt like at least the way that he
Yeah,
uses the film as a
his thing about
justification.
matter of fact. The fact that it's
Yeah,
matter of fact is that it makes it doubly contentious and disturbing. It's not
and it's
just
very
romantic.
yeah, and the matter of factness is a particular perspective that is being employed for a particular reason in the film.
Yes.
It's not a matter of factness as neutrality, that it's
Yes.
not to conflate the two. I think
Yeah.
Bogley reads the matter of factness as a moral neutrality, that oh, this is a thing. That's not what the film is doing, at least
Mm.
fundamentally, as I read it, and as I read what Alan is trying to do with it,
Yeah.
is what I was trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I
In
mean,
that case, even with the drama, I think it's much more, it's drawing attention not to the actual discourse on the matter of factness. It's actually addressing the chaos that the reveal is entailing. Like
hmm,
how eager we tend to be to jump to conclusions rather than
yes.
actually
Oh my
give it
God.
a
Sorry, Aryan. We just
contemplative.
got a jump
I think
scare.
I think that's what he's fundamentally getting at. Again, the only reason why it worked for someone like me is because having watched like all of you guys, having watched Sick of Myself and Dream
I have
Scenario,
not seen it,
I
by the way. This is my first Borgli film.
so
I
I like
was
at
okay.
least
Yeah.
I in this headspace, I don't know like how people, especially fans of his other films, are reacting to the
Yeah.
drama. All I know is that like of course like we all knew this, like once the reveal came off, once the people are talking about the film, the box office is gradually like tipping down, like because people
Which
now
is
know
okay.
that
But
oh this is which
the
is
score
again like
hasn't, the audience in that score isn't like widely divergent as I
it's
expected.
not yet,
Huh.
not yet. I don't
Not
think it's
maybe when
towards
it
like
releases on home video, it'll be a huge thing. Yeah.
because it's
Here's
again
what I
Mhm.
sorry, Aaron, so sorry. Go ahead.
No,
I
you're good, you're good. That's the only thing that I'm saying. That I think it's also gonna one of those films that's gonna play much better, like on a VOD platform when people are just sitting home like on a Friday night or a Sunday evening, like they're just tuning onto the film, and then the actual like we'll see how the film is actually
Sure.
playing out in the discourse like later on. Because I think the entire reason why he's making at least three of the films of his that I've
Mhm.
watched for him, it's not about addressing quote unquote in a didactic way that, oh, this is what I want to preach. Even though
Of
this
course.
is
He
relatively
wants
his
to make a
most preachy
provocative
film.
piece, no?
He wants to make a provocative statement by showing that how eager we are to jumping onto conclusions
Sure.
and actually
Yeah.
questioning anything. And I think it's very ironical, right or wrong, I
Hmm.
don't know. But it's
Hmm.
very ironical that he, like the very thing that he critiques, like cancel culture, he himself has become a subject of it now.
Of
Which is
course.
again, like, it's just fascinating for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Unlike Woody Allen's case, where we know the history, we know the context, and honestly, rewatching any Allen film right now, even though I love like 90% of his films,
Hmm.
I would still be like, oh, now I see. Like,
Yeah,
come
but
on.
I think that there's
For me,
a
that's not
different
the scenario
different people
for me.
react to that very differently. I like in the case of something like Chinatown and Manhattan, I was like, oh God, like in a sense
Yeah.
that it was it's like to me it's not like, oh look, I discovered this nugget where someone foreshadowed that they are a monster. No, it's not that. It's the sense that an artist reckons with it but still does it. That's, I guess, the worst part of it in the case of in these things, I
I think,
suppose.
and that's why I won't use the word Chris used. Chris said there's something to be admired. I'm not saying Chris
Okay.
admires Alan or something very clearly.
Yeah.
Chris is saying that
Admired of
there
his
is a
approach in the film.
self-awareness, yes, in that moment.
Of nakedly putting him out there, like, no pun
Yeah.
intended.
Yes,
But
but
yeah.
to me, the problem there is that
Yeah.
too nakedly.
Or
The problem there is that you are aware of your shortcomings
Hmm.
in some, whether you're putting them on film or you're aware
Hmm.
of them in real life.
Hmm.
And the fact that, like Dhruv said, you still do it,
Hmm.
and you don't appear to have sought any kind of intervention from either the. I
No,
know
but sir,
people like
I
you
think
can't seek intervention from the government. You can go and turn yourself in and let
yeah.
them do to you what they will need to do. But I think to me that's the sticking point, that because they got away with it is the
But
whole thing becomes
I think, I
really.
mean, again, to me, Manhattan, a lot of it is about people finding justifications for whatever horrible things they want to do and
Sure,
finding
I
a
mean,
way to
and I'm
do it.
speaking
So
in
yeah,
context of Chinatown.
yeah,
I've not watched
yeah,
Manhattan.
sure.
I never will.
Yeah, yeah, which is fair, totally fair. So
Unless I
Srilekha,
like marry
sorry,
a Woody
you,
Allen fan or something that tragic, which
yeah,
never
yeah,
happens to me.
yeah, Srilekha.
I was listening to all of your conversations, and which like reminds me of this very famous debate, which you all like, the art versus artist debate, which is reminding me, like, should we see someone's art on the basis, like, we always get biased when we know about the creator's
Yeah,
personal life,
of course.
and their work
That's
becomes
very
and their work becomes reductionist to some extent, like even though they
S-
like how Aryan said, like his previous view of his previous experience of viewing Manhattan was something, but now he can't view it in the same way. So that in
Yeah,
a way somehow making the art, but
and it
like
has
we
to
are
be, no,
viewing it in a
Srilekha.
very
Like,
for
see,
me, that the fundamental challenge for me as a viewer would always be like to question myself. That's why I said that
mm,
right now I would be the one, ironically,
mm,
who's insecure to rewatch Manhattan because
mm,
I know I would love it despite knowing
mm.
what has come out. And
Yeah,
that's for me the nuance. Like the art can be meaningful, even incisive, while the
mm,
creator remains problematic. And
yeah,
I'm not even
yeah.
saying flawed, like problematic, like
mm-hmm,
bold,
Mm.
like
mm-hmm,
redlining, right? But
mm-hmm.
for me, it's like that's the uncomfortable culture that we inhabit. And
I
for
mean,
me, the
people, you have
drama
to.
works because
So,
it's
I was about
raising that moral inquiry by
sure.
by even those preachy scenes when we go back to Zendaya's childhood from her POV. It's making a case despite it being very preachy, kind of took me out of the film as well.
I kind
But
of
it's important because it's making a case that moral inquiry doesn't need to and honestly shouldn't go into moral absolutism.
Yeah, of
And
course.
that's what I think all his films are fundamentally about. And that's
Sure.
why, yeah.
No, Nini, but that's
I
totally fair. Sorry, go ahead.
I I kind of felt like when those like child Zentaya's images were shown and she was replaced, like her past self was replaced, I feel the director was trying to convey that Charlotte's relationship throughout the film is not with her present, it's more with her past.
After
Like
the
he's trying
revelation.
to yeah, after the revelation, it becomes his relationship is more with the character's past,
Yeah,
not with what she's existing.
yeah.
And it makes me question in the end, does revealing or does the revelation about your partner's dark side makes you closer to them, because we all know the ending.
Yeah,
like how
I
it
mean, the
ends.
ending is a big point of contention for me. It's like just sidestepping
It just
everything and
ends, yeah.
going all soft on you. I'm like, no, you can't go soft on me with this film. Sorry.
I think it's not going again, like the only I know I've said enough, but for me, it fundamentally works because even when Srilekha said that, it was
Mm,
like the director trying to say that it's he's envisioning the relationship with her
mm.
younger self rather than her actual self. For me, that's the entire problem, and I think
Yeah, of
that's what
course.
Patterson's characters comes on terms with eventually. That I
Yeah,
have to look at this person the way I know her, not with
yeah.
the baggage that she's carried from her past. And I think nothing's more romantic than that. And I think the
Okay.
drama, like the title itself, it's much more about the hypocrisies, about especially like being Indian. It is about the giant mess that we make out of weddings. Like it has to
Yeah.
be a show. And what
Mm,
happens, like the ending, it worked for me, even though at first I was like taken aback that, oh, really, you're just ending this? But
mm,
it made sense for me to follow up with that quiet diner scene after
mm.
the chaos that entails and
Where it
ensues
becomes
at the
the
wedding,
celebration and
where the
melancholia. Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why it worked for me.
Sure. Okay. No, so now we are officially talking about the drama, by the way. Sorry. Unless, Chris, you have any other thoughts on the previous artist
This,
thing
if you
and
mind, if you don't mind, Dhruv, if you don't mind, I just want to come in, Srilekha, at one point that you
uh,
said art and artist wala jo we've talked about it a lot. I know Dhruv hates the
yeah.
debate because we've
No,
had moments on live
it's not about
streams.
hates the debate. I think no, no.
I
No, no,
just
I don't think
mentioned
I'm exaggerating. I'm
Uh,
exaggerating, of course, but
I
we've
mean, to
talked
me,
about it
it's
enough. What I want to say is,
my sorry. I'm just going to clarify. To me, it's like if you're considering someone an auteur, you have to consider the art and the artist together. You can't otherwise.
right.
It's very
No,
simple.
so my point is very simple. I'm more of a reader than a watcher of
Hmm.
cinema, which is an odd thing to say on a film podcast.
It's
But my
fine, Varun.
letterbox
We
diary
are
is,
used to your oddness.
I mean, yeah, for only 40 films in a year, where like everybody else is at 5 million and Amartya is at 20
We
billion, is
are reaching
it's
your level, sir. The sadness is that. Yeah, but yeah.
I mean,
And we are not
I
even
don't speak
reading.
like Dhruv.
And we are not reading. Yeah.
Dhruv logs short films. I don't. Anyway, what I'm saying is that if you seek to get the benefit out of your personal life, so I'll give you a great example. J.K. Rowling is a terrific example of this. She
Mm,
benefited out of every miserable thing that had happened to her.
Hmm.
mm,
Being a single parent, being almost homeless, having no money, struggling to make ends meet. All of that is part of the legend that is J.K. Rowling.
Hmm.
So
mhm,
when she gets called out for her trans exclusionary views, for her sort of
Hmm.
uh, for being so willing to be co-opted by the right wing
Hmm.
mm,
in a naked ambition grab for them
Hmm.
and a naked agenda fest for her,
Hmm.
mm,
she can't complain that these are my personal views, and
Hmm.
nobody should be able to make that distinction for her.
Hmm.
On the other hand, there are artists, I think, who do great things with their art. A writer
mm,
I am devoted to, whose every book I'll read, is Sir Ian Rankin. I think he's
Hmm.
the finest crime writer
Hmm.
writing in the English language today.
Hmm.
In the Western world, of course, there
Hmm.
might be lots of people in the global South, for instance.
Hmm.
Sir Ian's younger son is a man of special needs.
Hmm.
When he realized this, he was writing the ninth of 25 books in a detective series that he's written
Hmm.
since 1987, I think.
Hmm.
He decided to give his protagonist the same difficulty he was dealing with. So his
Hmm.
protagonist's child gets confined to a wheelchair for the rest of her life. Because he said, I wanted some way of channeling that pain, that
Hmm.
difficulty of how helpless he felt as a parent.
Hmm.
So when you are able to use your personal life in a productive way for your art,
Hmm.
and it is one of his finer novels, The Hanging Garden,
Hmm.
I think people will credit you. On the other hand, when you slip up and when you have
Hmm.
used your personal life to
Hmm.
further anything, for good or for bad, and I think
Hmm.
there's a tremendous amount of good in the way J.K. Rowling came up, for
Hmm.
instance, right? It's not a slush pile rejection is very easy as a first time writer.
Hmm.
So for her to have come out of that is an immense achievement, but she will get pulled down for the same views she holds.
Yeah.
So
And you
it's
should be.
that
I don't
you
think there's anything wrong with
you've
that.
got to be held accountable for the
Yeah.
things you say and the things you
Yeah.
do, and actions have to match what you sort of. So in that sense, I suppose Rowling lives up to the sort of image she has created
Hmm.
eventually, right?
Hmm.
She's not trying to stay on the good side of the left anymore,
Yeah.
or on the good side of the progressive. She's allowed
Hmm.
herself to be co-opted promptly
Hmm.
and doesn't give a fig about the rest of it.
Hmm.
I think when you want, and this is unfortunately in cinema, which tends to be a left-wing dominated area of work,
Hmm.
a shortcoming, right? Because these guys
Hmm.
all want to be progressive, but they've all done some of the
Mm.
most regressive things you can do
Yeah.
to a human being.
Yeah.
Some of the most awful things you can do to a human being. So
Yeah.
whether it's Allen, whether it's Polanski, whether it's the allegations against Coppola on Apocalypse Now and
Hmm.
Megalopolis,
Hmm.
especially,
Hmm.
you have sought
No
to
one is defending
benefit.
Megalopolis right now. It's fine.
No, no, I'm not talking about his.
Hmm.
I'm not talking about the film. I'm talking about his conduct
Hmm.
on the sets.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
when you've wanted to make something for yourself out of being part of the herd, you
Hmm.
can't complain that the herd turned on you because their
Mm.
values still remain
Hmm.
the same. They're not willing to adjust them because you're a great artist.
Hmm.
And it's
I think
imprinted
that's
in
very
your
important.
art as well. So you
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
even,
Most of the
yeah.
time. Yeah. But how
Yeah.
will it not? The whole idea is that these are considered auteurs, right? Like these are considered
Yep.
people who've made great films. And great films often, I mean, not always, but often come from some personal experience or some lived experiences or some observed experiences in other cases. But
Yeah.
in these filmmakers' cases, it's been lived a lot of times and that they have channeled that. And in that process, they've revealed something that now to us seems something else. But
I mean,
to me,
a very good example of this would also be the backlash Spielberg got from Israel for making Munich.
Munich,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Because they thought he had made Schindler's List, so he was on one side of the debate,
yeah,
but he
Mm.
had a more nuanced view of the debate itself
yes, yeah,
and the state of Israel wanted him to have. So
yeah.
it's
Yeah,
one of those
I would
things. He
say
paid
that
that price.
that film is essentially like a rejection of what the Zionist idea is in many ways.
Yes.
Mhm.
So,
Of the
in any
exceptionalism,
case,
certainly.
yes. So, anyways, we've talked all about and around with the drama. Now we can focus squarely on Christopher Borgli's third drama. I've mentioned all the crew members. Srilekha is currently eating, so I'll let her eat and then join. So, till then, we will begin initial thoughts with spoilers. For all people involved here, you've kind of gauged our reaction already, but we'll go more specifically about what we thought about the drama. We'll begin with Aryan. Go for it.
That's a like I genuinely think that's very surprisingly poignant, especially for both these standards, because
Sure.
like I have if like from what I remember, Sick of Myself wasn't poignant at all, very in the
Okay.
face, very
Was
much
it like
about like
opioids, or was it what's it about?
it's about this woman who is in an active relationship with again like his boyfriend gets a promotion somewhere. I
Hmm.
vaguely remember the plot,
Hmm.
and then she feels like she's being sidelined. She isn't
Okay,
getting
okay,
as
okay.
much attention, validation
Hmm.
from their friend circle. So she decides to engage in a lot of very trigger warning, like
Okay. Yeah.
self-harming accidents. Let's just leave it to that. And that's when like she gets all the validation, she gets labeled as something, and she gets pulled into this maze of again, it's a lot about cancel
Yeah,
culture.
a
It's a
lot of
lot
people
about how
like this whole
people.
thing, right? सबको maze में फेंक देते हैं after a point. Like it's like a
Oh yeah.
maze grinder. Like it's the Ari Aster's thing actually. Uh,
It's very sit in if you just watch Sick of Myself without
hmm,
knowing like anything about the director or the writer, whatever, you would just think that, oh, this is he is very approaching with a sadistic view. That's what he's imprinting on his
sure.
protagonist.
Hmm.
But that's when Dream Scenario came in. And again, the
Okay.
kind of existential terrain it takes you in. Again, a film that I don't fully love because I think I have a lot of issues with the way it ends.
Okay.
It just ends like it doesn't know where to go and it
I've
just ends,
heard that
which
it's got a
again,
very good first act and then it like go.
amazing. Like
This is
midway
basically
through,
is this your Life of Chuck part two?
no, it's not as it doesn't derail that bad. So let's just leave
Okay,
it to
fine.
that. But again,
Okay.
like that's why I was like pleasantly surprised watching the drama. I watched it with my girlfriend, so it just
Mhm.
made the experience even better.
Okay.
And we had a lot of like awkward laughs, and I could
Uh,
like sense the palpable tension in the audience that
sure.
they did not know whether to laugh at certain scenes
Okay.
or
So
not. And
that's
I was like,
interesting.
that amazing audience, right? And
Sure.
that's again we
Which is
are
why, I
watching
mean, once we
in
go
early
more in detail,
2026.
once we'll go more in detail, I'll talk about the Rachel character, who I have to say, for what it's
Oh
worth,
yeah.
Alana
We'll get
Haim
there.
gives one of my favorite performances in the film. I would love to watch her in a Yorgos Lanthimos film for that matter. But anyways,
So
uh,
that's it. Like I've said, like
I
a lot
feel
of things that
her
I thought
character is
already.
actually us reaction. Alana Haim's character is
That's
actually
what I said. Yeah,
audience.
that's what I thought.
how? I mean,
That's
it's
what I
I
thought.
think a totally opposite on this with you guys, but yeah.
No. That's what I thought. Like Srilekha and I like agree on this. Like at least
Okay.
that's what I was under the impression of. That's
Yeah.
what it's like very intentionally going at.
But did you
fundamentally
guys
for
think
me,
this
like
or no? How
oh,
Rachel
I
was doing
did.
the? You
I did.
thought how Rachel
I
thought.
not I
No,
tried to
no.
put myself in a white woman's like shoes, and that's when I
Okay.
thought that this makes a lot of sense. And
What
I could
shoes
be
No,
were
honest, I
they?
could
basically,
feel the tension.
tell me. You tell me.
That's what I felt even amongst the audience. That's what the film was getting at. And
Okay.
again, for me, eventually, I know I've said a lot about this film that
Hmm.
I'm like almost done with all my thoughts, pouring
Yeah.
out my thoughts. But again, for me, fundamentally, I had a great time because it's a mid-budget rom-commy that's also trying to like initiate a debate or not, just spark a cultural
But
conversation
I'll just
that
ask you this before
we don't
pivoting to
get that
Chris.
anymore.
I get it
Like
totally, but you
rom-coms,
mean,
especially mid-budget in this
hey,
spectrum, like people are tuning in.
my thing when I watched it, I was like, ये picture, like, I mean, I said it in Hindi to Chris. I was like, who's ये picture बनती कहाँ है आजकल? I'm like,
Kiski.
sure. Like, I was like,
Exactly.
this is
Yeah.
engaging, this is fine. Like, I didn't mind it. Like, also, I had just watched Project Hail Mary before. Like, not just, but previously I watched Project Hail Mary and O Romeo in cinema. So, my competition is like also
I think the
null
films
and
like the
void.
drama for me lie in that soft space, like where it's like the the perfect kind of 3.55 star films
Sure.
that you
Got
need,
it. Yeah.
right? That theaters need more of, like the perfect kind of 3.5, 4 star,
Like
5 star
I'd be
films.
like, but see, this is my issue also with the drama though. And Chris, you can sort of supplement this or add your thoughts to it. I'm just going briefly over it. I think it is a very entertaining. Uh, I laughed with, which I'm glad because in Project Hail Mary I felt like an alien. But in here I was like, yeah, it's good. It's got a decent sense of humor. I think the issue for me is that it is trying to be provocative, and what you guys are saying in the sense that you eventually reach the point of not being like Rachel or like not thinking like Rachel. I never thought like Rachel. Like that's my other thing. Like to me, it's like when Zendaya reveals it, I'm like, yeah, I'm with her. Like to me, it's like
I think Dhruv, it's also very like American thing.
it
It's a
might be a very
very
that's what we were
savior
saying also. Yeah,
complex kind of. That's
yeah,
why I think that's why it's kind
sure.
of working, and that's why a lot of the audience are reacting to her character.
But the thing is, I think the way in which Borgli deploys this information and how it's revealed in the film, to me, very clearly picks a side already. Like to me, it's not like it doesn't give me the space to jostle with it. To me, at least, it did because it's revealed after these three people reveal their things, which are pretty horrible in their own respect. They are in private spaces, but they are very horrible, and they are actions people have done. That's the big
Consequences. Yeah,
thing.
exactly. They actually
That's the
went away
big
with.
thing. They went through with
Yeah.
bullying in physical form, in cyber bullying, and he used his
Human
girlfriend as
shield.
cover
Yeah.
for the dog,
As human
right?
shield.
Yeah, as human shield. So yeah, so all these three things, which is a very actually now that I think of it, that's the most force majeure. This is a Ruben Ostlund friend adjacent story being told here. But anyways, to me, once Zendaya makes the reveal, I was like, yeah, I mean, is there a side to pick? Really? Like I'm
No,
like,
my
look,
literal reaction was and like not to sound at all insensitive about
yeah,
the severity of school shootings in America, and I think I'm with Aryan in the sense that, and what I was telling Dhruv is that the film makes much more sense in an environment like the US where school shootings
yes,
is such a part of the public consciousness.
yes,
And that also becomes a problem just because they act like there is this idea that, oh, she's thought of it and it's not a novel idea, that whole debate is a separate thing. But the point is that I was literally like, and so what? Like either she has to had to have done something, or there's a shot in the film which is like, which is actually like a nightmare sequence, but I thought was
Oh
a
yeah,
flash
yeah.
forward where she
Yeah.
actually
same.
shoots
After the
up the
wedding.
wedding.
which
But I'm
I
like, okay,
think
she
is the
either
most
has to
natural conclusion, the provocative
exactly either
conclusion
she
of the
has to
film.
do something or have
Yes.
had done something to just because I began with Alana Haim's reaction is entirely disproportionate. Like everybody's
Yes.
reaction is entirely disproportionate. I
And I
was
think
with
Borgli knows
Not
this too
not
clearly
only,
also in some ways,
again,
in my
like
opinion.
very important point of conjecture here, like not only is it disproportionate, one of the first things that she reacts back by saying is that you do know that one of my cousins is an active like victim of a
Victim
school
of it.
shooting,
School
right?
shooting, yeah.
So again, I think it was extremely clever on Bogli's
Okay.
part to make that her initial reaction, because again, I think what he's dealing with fundamentally is about how we tend to position ourselves in a
Yeah.
way trying to condescend and like numb down the people that actually need more nuanced takes, like
Yeah.
people like before we she doesn't ask like what made you think about that. Like we only see that much later on as the audience that she was secluded, she was bullied
This is
actively,
the
things that the other characters on that table have done. And
yes.
then once she finds her quote unquote tribe, once she gets encompassed and like once she gets all that social validation in school the way it's supposed to be
Mm.
for all the like for every child out there,
Mm.
that's when she realizes and reckons with the fact that, oh, what was I about to like put myself
Yeah.
in? And
But I
that's
think
again another scene that does that for me, that
mm.
goes to show how clever of a writer Borgli is
Mm.
when very matter of factly when they're sitting
Mm.
with patents when at Charlie's office and they're just discussing
Mm.
like, oh, are you really gonna go ahead with the wedding? And
Mm.
then he's trying to justify his end from like, oh,
Yes,
she's had a
yes.
rough childhood.
The
One of her neighbors,
colleague he
she
tries
saw
to
her
have
die,
sex with.
and no, before that, when he's
Okay.
talking with Alana Haim's character
Yeah.
and her boyfriend.
Ah,
And
yes, yes,
that's
at her
again the
office.
second time that Alana Haim's character, Rachel, says something like, oh, look at him, like pointing to his
Oh,
boyfriend in his name. I
yeah.
don't remember.
He's
Like, look at
like,
him. He's also, he
he
grew up
lived
around
with
guns and everything.
guns.
Again, very clever stroke of writing, because just because it's very
No, but
much
he
pointing
reacts,
fingers at
no, Aryan. He says, now, what the
he
fuck are you talking
reacts.
about?
But exactly the fact that she generalizes even
Of
his
course.
boyfriend like someone
Yeah, yeah,
who's
but
she's being
Aryan, I
married
think
with.
what you're saying is the issue also for me, at least in the sense that to
Not
me
for
the
me.
no,
Not for
but
me.
to me it's like you're उसमें provocation का है when you've drawn
no,
the line
the
so clearly.
Yeah.
the problem is it's too on the nose, and also fundamentally, the fact is with the Zendaya, I didn't need the backstory at
Ah,
Oh
all.
yeah, very true.
keep it
Unless
Very
so
true.
mysterious, actually.
the point is that
Allow her
it
to do
only
this
yeah,
work.
it'll only be
साथ
But बाद में तो
लेकिन
provocative.
पूरा हैरी एस्टर का पिक्चर बन जाता ना
No,
इसलिए.
the point is it's only provocative if for even a moment I had a feeling that Zendaya did something wrong, which I
Yeah.
never did, because whatever you
Yes.
learn about the character, the fact that she didn't do anything and that there is no sign in the film till that point or
Yes.
Yeah.
after that she's capable of any kind of violence, I don't feel provoked at all, because I'm just like, what are these idiots who are reacting like this? It's not even like, oh, the culture is like this. I'm like, any sane person wouldn't react like this. If I had a reaction and then the film got me to reflect on it, then the
Hmm.
provocation makes sense. Which is, I think, again, when you talk about a film like Ari Aster's Eddington, that's what it makes you sit with, because it makes you sit with these emotions that we all experienced or the kind of discourses that we saw. But fundamentally, there is no provocation because you're so clearly like everybody's being an ass to this woman who hasn't
Hmm.
done anything wrong.
Also,
You just feel absolutely nothing.
also
Yeah.
one brief thing, and then you guys can
Yeah.
sort of chip in.
Right.
By you guys, I mean Srilekha first, and then Varun. Uh, Sorry, I didn't mean it to sound like I was
no, don't worry. I
discriminating, Varun. Uh, Anyway,
even though
I
you
don't
meant
care about that actually. Yeah, that's
yeah.
fine, totally. But no, I was about to say that there's a massive absence of racial things in this. Why is race not mentioned anywhere? Like, it's so weird to me. Like, in the sense that,
I mean, Dhruv, it'll be a bit strange if they start talking about an Abbas Mastan movie in the middle of all this.
Which
What a
Horrible.
one is the important question?
horrible, horrible.
horrible joke.
But no, it was very surprising. And to me, you can't sidestep the race question because you are using a hot button issue in any case to
But
provoke.
that's exactly for someone like me the scene where something as trivial as when she's pointing at his boyfriend, like his husband, not even boyfriend.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he grew up around guns. That it's already heavily implying that bias. For me, that's already
But
doing
no,
this.
I'm
It's
talking
very
about from
on the nose.
Zendaya's
It's
point of view.
Aryan, but I associate white America with guns.
That's
So her
that's exactly the irony. And even Patterson's character, like I think it also works that very on the nose, very Brit guy that who's playing the lead, and he's
What
being
accent is he
thrown into
using?
this
Like speaking in
situation.
three
My
voices.
problem, see, my problem is what is the director trying to convey? Like he's showing a black woman carrying gun shooting. Like, is he critiquing racism or is he racist to
I don't
some
think there's
extent?
anything about racism. I honestly unless there's an implicit stuff, as Aryan is saying, about the fact that white America has biases against racist, race,
Yeah.
like the black, which is okay, like that's water is wet sort of territory. Yeah, we know that. But
And
it's
also,
No, but to Varun's point a little bit, there is the racism only counts when you're going back at associations, right? So there's one association of guns with white American men, and then there's one association of guns with black American men again. Guns are a very male, or there's an association with manhood and gun violence. So the problem is that even if the racial angle is even if there with respect to Zendaya being black, the fact that she's a woman, then it individualizes the problem. It no longer calls back to any kind of a systemic issue or a systemic pattern or trajectory, which is either to do with the dialogue with the black man or with a white man doing it.
My issue is also a little key. You are using the social issues as a means of provocation, but then failing to really engage with them.
It is empty provocation. Let's not give it too much credence. Was my takeaway, because sure, school shootings are a massively American thing.
I mean, if you want to see a really harrowing film about school shootings and its aftermath, I know Aryan has seen it, called Mass. Mass, MASS. Huh?
Who's directing?
Not Masi wala thing. That Mass.
No, Mass. As in, I was wondering whether it's Mass.
It's an actor who directed it, actually.
Based on a stage play, I think.
Yeah. It has a slightly stagey quality to it, but it's nonetheless harrowing.
28 came out. 2021.
Yeah. Okay. It's directed by Fran Kranz.
Okay.
And it stars Jason Isaacs and a bunch of other people.
Interesting.
Martha Plimpton, Jason Isaacs, Anne Dowd, etc. Sorry, yes, go ahead, Srilekha.
You all are telling something. Finish it.
No, I was just talking about.
I was just trying to say that the school shooting context is a very American thing. That's the first thing. So I feel like if Charlie is supposed to be the outsider and he's really the central character to the story, even though it is Zendaya's story technically.
Yes.
Sorry, Emma's story, I beg your pardon. For him, it should be a greater shock in the sense of, so there's not been a school shooting in the UK for about 30 years now. Since the shooting in Dunblane, which is in Scotland in the 90s, automatic firearms were banned. And there has not been anybody walking into a school and shooting up a place since that moment. You've had other kinds of violent incidents in school, but not shooting. So I feel like for him, it should come as more of a surprise, because otherwise you're telling me this guy's family is coming from the UK. You're giving me these very, very little hints. But I have no context to him. Like, how long has he been in America? How clued in is he?
So I think the idea is that he is American, though. Idea is I think he's become American in that sense by living there.
I think, but Pattinson is still reacting in a register of someone who's more shocked.
Yeah.
That's
what I got.
Okay.
So I feel like the script needs to serve that reaction.
I think he's not shocked. He is trying to delve up all these instances to justify that, I did not fuck up, right? I made the right decision by being with this woman, by approaching her at this random cafe. He's trying to justify.
Sure, he is. But I feel like it's still empty in the sense that there's not more to it than just it's a shooting. It might get into the backstory of a character, but it's not interesting.
He also says at one point, the actual dialogue is something like, "Isn't this your thing? Isn't this what you guys do?" For me, that's again, Like you're being in the face, you're being like satirical. That's why even if the film did not actively dig up the race angle, it worked for me because it was already heavily
Sure.
satirized up until that.
Okay. Okay. Srilekha, you were saying, sorry.
I was saying something, yeah. So I was saying like I was saying that the film tries to deal with a lot of things, but nothing leaves an everlasting impact except the chaos, which I
Sure.
kind of reflects the chaos which goes on. It's very chaotic. In like everything, so the director is also trying to juggle with so many things. And Pattinson's character, like what I was telling in the beginning, like when he approaches her in a cafe, he's not very true. Their
Of
relationship starts on a
course.
lie only.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, but
it
I think
starts
he's
on a lie.
he's a character to like who's looked upon as a joke only after like mostly throughout. Oh, it's got a very eyes wide shutty
Also, that's
thing
a
to it.
function of most ways of approaching people. You've got to
Eyes wide
manufacture
shutty, I
that
said,
thing.
right? I
That's
meant
why it's
shitty.
called again the drama. Like it is all
But
about.
that's why it's called the drama.
It's a
And
show.
also,
Everything is a
Sure,
show.
but
The wedding is just a
the
metaphor.
show. Wedding is a
Yeah.
spectacle where people are
Yeah.
like the critique of social behavior. Like it's subversive. The grotesque things are
It's
happening.
not
People beating each
subversive,
other.
Srilekha. It's been there in
It's fairly
Norwegian
basic.
cinema
No,
long.
it is subversive in its template. It is subversive to
mean,
the 90s rom-coms that
Okay,
it's,
sure. Yes, from
see,
an
if you look
American
at
point of view,
the,
yeah.
Yeah,
if
it's
you,
not subversive in its commentary. Its commentary feels
not in its
entirely
commentary.
banal.
Oh yeah.
Is
It's
the
very
problem.
straightforward in its commentary and very
if you
ineffective as well at times. But yeah.
Bolo, Srilekha.
if you look at the poster, it was actually of the wedding of a happy wedding. So that kinds
Yes.
of misguides, but in the actual wedding, when you see, it's completely different. It's utter chaos.
Yeah.
So yeah, that
Have,
thing.
have you
And
seen
what?
But
Melancholia by Lars von
that's a
Trier?
standard
No.
filmmaking trick.
I have seen. I have
Lars von
seen.
Trier's Melancholia. That's exactly what
Yeah.
happens in this. Like to me, when I was watching this, I was like, it's the same thing. It's like
I mean,
literally the same thing.
But
But
Srilekha,
anyways,
I
it's
mean, I
fine.
feel like you might be reading into the poster a bit much because posters are supposed to be like your main tool of marketing from a standard
उसमें
static
Zendaya
review
को तो
point.
दिखा सकते गन के
I
साथ
am
actually.
Right. I mean, they can't do that with
Let
her
me
in lingerie and the I think the
I mean, there
rifle
is a
she's
bit
carrying,
of a
which
like you
again
can,
is random.
if you want to run with the if film
see what
representation
I
means
was
more
telling.
than बोलो sorry आप बोलो पहले
I was telling something again. So
poster
yeah. Yeah. So what I'm telling is the film tries to represent so many things, but in the end, I don't feel anything
okay
constructive or anything.
but your friend was crying,
Major take.
right?
My friend was crying. That is because of her personal trigger. That I
Acha,
won't take.
okay
But what I liked about the film
School
is
shooting or Englishman?
the photo shoot scene. The scenes with the photographer were the ones where I laughed the most because everybody was laughing. And it was like shoot. She was telling like this, like that, and the discomfort in the face, that show act, it was very humorous for me.
yeah
But
the
I would have
last
like
बोलो
I would have
मैं बीच में
appreciated if Emma's character, like a girl does all these things, nothing is revealed much about her parents or like
that's
what do
also
they
there.
do initially.
I mean,
That's
she's
what my
the
problem.
police officer, right? Or was it
No,
Army.
it is
Former
only
veteran.
at the end.
Former
Yeah.
veteran,
But then when those childhood scenes are shown, she's shown like this abandoned kid who like
like she
is
has
without.
such a major ear problem.
Yeah.
Like somebody would have found out, right? How she
I know,
went
that's
deaf.
what I was like. Yeah.
Bit
Yeah, that's
convenient.
the problem.
I think
Her
all
dad-
this
Medical
works.
care is so expensive in America. How will she go and get it
The
fixed?
father is like, for some reason, like this, my rifle suddenly disappeared when you
Yeah.
turned 15, and I'm like,
You were not even a
Yeah,
bit
as
It
no
scared.
was around the
father
same
is
time when your
shown.
daughter went deaf in
Went deaf.
one of our movies. Like, come
No
on.
flashback of the parental
No,
care
but
in
that
anything.
all I
Nothing
wouldn't
is
have
there.
wanted,
God.
huh, Srilekha?
thank
I wouldn't
God.
have wanted that at all.
Didn't
I
want
wouldn't
the
have
child
wanted it.
scenes at all. Like
Yeah, it's
I
not
felt they were
needed.
extraneous to the film.
It's not needed at
Right?
all.
They added
Absolutely.
no value to the movie. It
I
was
think
I
she's
think
saying that because we
just-
already get a lot of flashbacks.
just
so
to
might as
tell,
well.
like Srilekha, for me, I
felt-
think the problem, a lot of the flashbacks is that it furnishes her story or her character too much. I'm like,
Yeah.
leave it to Zendaya
I
to
agree.
convey all the details. Leave it to the actor to convey all the
present
details. You don't
version.
past flashbacks you can have from Pattinson's point of view. That's fine. That's him imagining. That you can throw in. He's concocting a
I
tale in his head. Because he
honestly
makes a
think
point at one point,
that
right? To Alana Haim.
might have been, I don't know, like again, like based on other Borgli that I've watched, I genuinely felt that was very unlike Borgli. I think that could have
Okay,
been a
it's like a
studio
more
thing.
mainstream thing.
Yeah, like
okay.
oh, you have to like have some, like it's the ice episode in the pit, like things like that. Like, oh, you
Okay, okay.
cannot show this so that it's a
So
trigger.
just to
You
like
have to
ease in the provocation and like
ease the
for like
audience into the
okay. So
which
to
I'm
me
like, why even
that's
bother with that? Like people are still gonna debate it over Twitter,
yeah.
like, and I'm like, just own it.
I want to know the
So it
people
makes
who
the commentary a bit redundant. Like it
It
devalues
does,
to any
yeah.
commentary because you're like, again, the fact that for me that was not my sympathies were with her even before the flashbacks makes the flashbacks entirely extraneous to the film, because I'm like
Oh yeah,
because it also remains that why she does it is not material.
not
The fact
important,
is,
not the point.
yeah, the fact is she doesn't do it, and who is the point matters is who is she between 15-year-old who doesn't decide to do it and the person she is today. That
And
is the
how
time that
yet
matters.
she's being subjugated to that. I
of
think that's the
course.
main
Exactly.
tension of the
I mean,
film,
like,
Has she? The
which
question
is
is,
that's
why,
has
the
she
thing,
done
right? You are
anything?
always
Then,
held
yeah.
to the
yeah.
Yeah.
you're always held to your worst moment at
Yes.
the point at which people remember you, and that's where the film differs. These people didn't know her when she was 15.
Yes.
They make no
Mm.
effort to understand her point of
Yeah.
view. Though I'm not saying I'm empathetic to school shooters or something. I think that there's
She's not a school
but
shooter
Which
though.
again,
I just
conveys
feel,
that.
sir, I am putting in a statutory warning
Okay.
before you get
Huh.
something on this episode, and
Okay,
I
okay.
get taken to prison.
But
Much as you might
that's
like
the whole
that.
thing though. She's no shut up.
No, see, this again conveys that the whole Charlie's character was in the idea of love with this
Sure.
character.
Yeah.
It was in the
Which is
idea.
fine.
He didn't know.
Hmm.
What I'm saying is not that. It's that everybody has diabolical thoughts. Okay, like
Hmm.
nobody is
मैंने भी सोचा
that
हुआ है
good
यहाँ पे
husband.
किसी को
Of course, मेरे बारे में,
मारने
Chris
का
के बारे में,
हाँ
मेरे ही बारे में, Chris के बारे में नहीं होगा. किसके साथ जाओगे पिक्चर देखने? But like when we were
नहीं
young,
जाऊंगा
for instance, for a lot of us, the thing was something is going to happen to my school and I will save the day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's such a hero moment because we've grown up on so much standard Bollywood
disgusting
fare. Yeah, but nothing will. The thing was that was still a sanitized dream because it was like nothing will happen to anybody except to the bad
Because of
guys who
me.
I will take down.
Yeah.
So it was
you
a
had
full
dreams of
Salman Khan movie.
self-aggrandizement
Yes, sir. Full narcissist.
wow what a
movie.
shock
So I'm saying that when they have no context to her, as rational adults, them responding the way is they do is a bit much. Secondly, it Borgli treats these American characters as being so shocked by school shootings that they feel like European characters. And that's why I feel like this is a better European film than it is an American film.
लिखी भी तो यूरोपियन नहीं है
No, where the power of what it's trying to do works much better in that setting as opposed to America.
In that context.
Okay.
Shooting is not
It's
really.
like every day, like wapas, like
Aryan can go right now to a Walmart and collect something for himself, get himself a nice gift.
he has to go what is this
Walmart.
Tax file करना है यार आज तो हो ही जाए
File कर नहीं तो.
No, that's why I thought the reveal would be something, like I said, after the hunt adjacent. I thought some kind of sexual violence or something like that, which all of us instinctively think of as
it's much more universal.
Yeah, even if she universal, right? Even if you say she hadn't done it, we would be much more morally like offended by someone even considering sexual violence than we would something like this kind of a thing, especially in the American consciousness and the way it is in the sort of social
Chris,
language of.
Are
yeah,
you
what?
sure about what you have just said?
Why?
I don't know. It just sounds wrong. But anyways, it's fine. You've said it.
I okay. Anyways.
Yeah.
No, I get it.
No, so the point remains that the provocation becomes entirely unfound. Again, that if it was something more universally accepted as
This is very
disgusting or as that kind
specific
of a thing.
to America.
But that's the entire also the shtick, right? Like A24, we're having this Norwegian director make a film about America's actual current issues. I think that's also one of the shticks of the film. That
sure.
what this is, and again, honestly, one of the other very silent, like very like the 10th reason for me why the film works is because we need that. Like US, like right now
हाँ मतलब
needs
खुद को
that like
हाँ
slap
like
from Europe or
keep yourself
they,
outside your own
yeah,
ass. Yeah.
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 That's why it's again like
Hmm.
one of the other reasons why it's working for
Sure,
some
makes
like
sense.
What did you
Makes
it's like
just say?
I squinted because I was like, what the hell did I just say? But sure, I'm running with it. But yeah,
Yourself outside of your own ass.
अमेरिका को
Can
नहीं
we
आता
have
ना
that
वो
on
सब
merch?
करना. Anyways, more thoughts, guys,
No, but
on.
I mean, I feel like if it had used something like what Chris is talking about, it's too many films do it, right? So what is your shock value then?
Yeah. And to be
I'm
honest,
trying
when the
to
moment with the music happened and towards the end, where the music like the DJ's thing is used as a gunshot ka sound, as a comedic.
oh my god, yeah.
No, but
Oh,
I was
that
like,
one. The
I was like,
entire hall laughed.
if you're willing to go that tasteless with all this,
Yeah.
you are going to carry out that flash forward shooting that happened in the mind, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm like, that is just the way it has to go if you're going to provoke
Yeah.
people. But then it just materialists out of the way, which is to me horrible. Like I'm just like,
See,
why would you do this?
I also feel the more psychologically challenged is Zendaya, but her present version is not shown any psychosis. More, the Robert Pattinson's character is shown having psychosis.
Yes.
That is my
I think
major
that's
problem.
a design flaw only in the film, that it is not curious about her present
Zendaya
character.
only, yeah.
Like
And
how
the
she's
sort of-
dealing with that.
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah,
shows
how
that
she's
she
dealing with
has
the fallout of
accepted the
something.
fact.
She's the catalyst. That's it. I don't think she has much more
Yeah,
to
she
it.
like the present version shows that has made peace with the fact of how she was is just her partner, and his psychosis has been shown. Whereas
She
this
serves a
character,
plot function as opposed to serving a narrative
Yeah.
one.
yeah.
No, I mean,
You can
even if the
I mean-
flashbacks would have been the section, like again, something say Pattinson looking back at their own relationship and
Yeah.
reconsidering the moment, say she got mad at someone or something, because like there's a scene where like a car almost hits them and they're
Yeah.
crossing the road and she screams at the
Yeah.
guy. If that was a flashback to their own relationship and him reconsidering her actions, that would still make more sense than them entirely writing her off based on no evidence that it's been shown to either us or to them that she's capable of any kind of action. Yeah.
Slightly tangential, but you know what? Like, it just reminded me for some reason. The only time I've went back again to this film, remembering this film, or my experience of watching it. A lot of what like you guys have like minor issues with the film. Honestly, not really a good film, but it's trying to say a lot. A film that came out like some point last year, Magazine Dreams. Problematic for all the other reasons. Jonathan Majors.
Yeah.
Again, very provocative in a way that I was
There's the dude
genuinely
that fell through a
repulsed by.
window, right, on a set recently.
On the set of a Daily Wire film, that too.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah, he was doing some right-wing
like
propaganda crap.
without spoiling it,
Sorry.
Jonathan Mayers plays this. He's preparing for I think powerlifting or weightlifting competition, and the choices he makes towards the end of that story, towards the end of the film, when he doesn't get to compete as a black guy, as an African American, the kind of basically goes on a shooting, like an actual rampage, violent rampage.
That's in the
and
film?
the way, I was like genuinely uncomfortable. I was like, no way, the studio did not market this film, not just because it had majors on.
I thought it was just like one of those
because of this.
what is that underdog story?
Even I thought the same. That's why I was like impressed by the end that you actually went
that's
there.
the reason I didn't watch it. But okay, sure.
No. I was like properly impressed and at the same time repulsed by some of the
Which
choices.
is fair, yeah.
Again, very much. I like for no reason. I didn't even think of that while watching the drama, but just right now, like when we are like discussing about.
But I think Aryan, with this, I think it's. I was about to ask, is it because Zendaya's in the film? And I don't mean it.
No,
as
it's
a,
because. It's because of the conversations that, like, what we.
But then, why would you make this film then? Like, why even do the initial provocation when you're not going to follow through with it?
I think, and this is sorry, Aryan.
No. That's it. I already said a lot. Like,
no, because see,
for me,
so
it's
what?
about addressing the discourse.
Sure.
This.
Srilekha, you can say this.
Please go ahead. Say what you want.
No. It like reminded me like partner being something
Partner?
that.
I was
No,
like
no.
David Dhawan's
I'm
partner.
glad Dhruv went there and I didn't because I thought it.
I mean your partner, romantic partner, not the
Yes.
film partner, guys. That your
Yes.
partner like turning out to be something else, like what you have their idea is similar in Kurban and Fana as well. It's just that
Yeah, that's true.
It's just that in both the films, they're actually turning out to be like terrorists.
Yes.
But here, she was aspiring to be, but then she didn't become what she
Yes.
wanted
Oh,
to.
matlab, this is like
Yeah.
Dil Se, no? Then
Aspiring to be. I like how Srilekha seems to give a positive spin. to
See,
this.
she was
LinkedIn
aspiring
पे
to be because there are so many things. See, from whatever the absent details if we
इसलिए ये लोग
consider, maybe she was neglected by her parents also. That's why
नहीं, so
not much of her
but I
parents are
think
seen.
हाँ, but वो psychology नहीं चाहिए श्रीलेखा इसमें मुझे नहीं चाहिए personally. आम
वो
चेस
psychology वो
psychology
But psychology तो है
magazine
ना.
teams में मिलता
No,
है
no, no.
मैं
But
इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ
if you
They're
want
very
the
bad
audience
with
to fill in the gaps or fill in the blanks, you have to make a smarter film to begin with.
हाँ, I
This
think
is
so.
a sanitized version of a film.
Yes.
That it's whatever it's trying to be.
I mean,
And
I
that
like
is
the
my
scene
aim.
where Pattinson comes up with this armchair psychology argument where he is trying to convince Alana Haim that she had this trouble past where she saw a friend die in a car crash. And
He's
then
justifying.
she got,
for me, his justification and his back and forth with himself, for
Yes.
me, that is the film. I
हाँ,
don't
वो
think
ही
the
है.
film is about school
Yes.
shooting and the merits
हाँ,
of
it's about
who
him.
that's why I think a lot, and it's very reasonably so. We tend to project what to expect from
Of
the
course.
film. That if you're raising up this issue, you have to give us
Of
पूरा
course.
justify करो race को
नहीं, नहीं, मुझे
For
तो
me,
चाहिए
the
ही नहीं
film is
justification.
not about that. And that's
I
exactly why
wanted
for
to be
someone
curious
like me
about
as well, the
her,
flashbacks
Aryan.
do
That
not
is the
work.
problem.
I think the
It's
film
not
is a little
curious about
incurious
her.
about her only. I think it treats her as a plot point and then she does everything around her, which I mean, if you're
Because
doing the
see,
hot button topic issue and then
But
then
she
using
is
a
the
blank.
catalyst. She is the
sure,
catalyst because
but
it is.
you know
So I said,
when it takes
I think
her
it's-
to that. Sorry, Srilekha, go ahead.
No, you carry on.
So I'm saying that when it's positioning her throughout in his, either then don't go with her backstory at all,
Yeah.
which I don't need, or then
Yeah.
when you are curious about Emma, go with Emma as we the audience are first introduced to her,
Yeah.
as opposed to this whole childhood. Okay, it's 3 scenes, so it's not like it's half an hour of the film's runtime or whatever. It just doesn't sit well with the film. It's like,
Yeah.
and then it goes into this whole thing of trying to make him think that it's kind of sexy that she was almost a school
That all is
shooter.
fine. I think that is decent provocation.
Yes, but get into that. Don't okay. This
It's
is
like
obviously an
surface level.
actor. It's
Yeah.
an actor issue, right? That what will the actor be willing to pose with,
Sir,
and how are they willing to?
Pattinson,
No,
I
hear me
will
out.
be standing up to, like in that sense.
Hear me out.
Huh.
No, I'm talking about Zendaya here, right? So the
Okay.
idea is that the max provocation is going to be one thappad in bed that he is thinking of, or like,
Yes.
oh, why
Oh,
the fuck
yeah.
was she getting
Yeah,
into
yeah.
all
Oh.
this S&M or whatever it's called?
Yeah.
Because I'm obviously not that literate on
Chris
this
is busy
particular
right
subject
now,
matter.
so yeah.
And
Yeah.
our subject matter expert is Vyast, but
Yeah.
it's
What
like
did you ask? I'm
get
so
in.
sorry.
So when she slaps him in bed, would that be say, S&M?
Sure.
Yeah.
Somewhat, right?
It is.
It's
Yeah.
some kind of, so it's like you only went there. One slap would, because you wanted to stay within. Again, this is the whole idea of programmatically sort of trying to make sure your movie is watched by as many people. So why is Wuthering
वो
Heights
भी है,
a
वो तो है.
15 film? It is because the teenagers will not go and cannot go and watch an 18 version of Wuthering Heights.
वो
So
बनने की
how
भी
do
नहीं
we
सर,
maximize her?
बननी भी नहीं चाहिए. 15 वाली भी काट
No,
देनी
no, no.
चाहिए वैसे तो पूरी. Anyway,
Sir,
sorry.
I'm talking about no, but look at it this way, right? When there is potential to the film, you should live up to the potential of the film.
I
as opposed to
understand that.
the potential
It
of your box
happens
office.
multiple times. Even when the scene, like when he's sitting
I mean,
in
yeah,
the
she's
bedroom and she
in
comes with
lingerie
a knife.
with the rifle. Oh yeah,
No,
the
no, I
knife as
think
well.
The
The
knife
knife is
scene,
not
the
a
yeah.
knife
emotional scene. It's
the
more
knife
a,
is a funny scene though.
it's a
It
funny
was
scene. It's
funny,
more a
yeah.
You know what I was reminded of in that scene? I was reminded of Terence Young's Wait Until Dark, which is most well known for one of its final shots, which is a supposedly dead Alan Arkin getting up with a knife. I mean, it's a slasher horror home invasion movie.
Is it Hepburn?
Audrey Hepburn. Yes, of course. That's why I'm talking about it.
Sure, of course. Yeah.
मुझे क्या ही इंटरेस्ट होगा टेरेंस यंग की फिल्म में थंडरबॉल बनाई थी उसने anyway. So it's that the film is just
but then Borun, the weird thing
is
the weird thing is with Aryan and Cris, I can put the counter to them, and Srilekha especially, actually. Why am I excluding her from this? I can put the counter that you go and watch Piano Teacher, and you go and watch Antichrist, and you go and watch like something, and they'll be like, oh wow, provocation. But then if I recommend all this to you, you'll be like, bro, what the fuck are you recommending to me? Like, it's...
I'll watch it. See, no.
I watched all
watch
the
it.
Sorry, that's what I said. Like, why have I...
included you?
I was like, why did I not mention Srilekha? वो तो queen है इस सब की.
हाँ, ये सब मेरा point है that this film in itself has, because it is going to be judged on its own terms, right? I'm not going to be like, अच्छा Piano Teacher से better है, Banjo Master से अच्छी नहीं है, whatever. I'm not going to get into that. I'm sorry, it was right there.
Banjo Master.
What is that film? I haven't watched.
It's not a film, it's a title I made up.
Oh man.
Banjo is a film with Ritesh Deshmukh and Dhruv's favorite actress Nargis Fakri.
Banjo?
Yeah. I mean, it's a musical instrument.
अरे नहीं यार,
Banjo, that I know.
Banjo पता है हो क्या?
मेरे को क्या पता यार, वो रितेश है उसमें, कौन देखता है ये सब? Anyway, वो भी नहीं देखेगा. My point is that
Chris puts his hand up, by the way.
Of course, Chris ना पागल है. मैं आगरा से भागे हुए लोगों से बात नहीं करता. Chris and my sister when I talk to her. So it is that a film needs to, when it promises something, and it's my problem with, oddly enough, The Fall Guy. It's going to seem like a random comparison.
Okay.
You're selling spectacle of action filmmaking and how films get made. And then when you fail to deliver at the highest level of that, when your audience is essentially, so David Leitch is in his 40s or 50s. So his audience is the kind of people who grew up on Die Hard and The Fugitive and Speed and Heat. You need to give something that's that immersive. These are not movies that were made on 70mm. They were not made in 3D. They were immersive despite being as standard movies were. So when a film comes up short on its own terms is doubly disappointing, right? Because you're like, okay, then it's empty provocation eventually. You're like, okay, I can live with this. But it's not.
But that's the whole thing. I think that my thing was, it's an easy watch. It's a problem that it's an easy watch.
But I did have
Even
one point I wanted to.
it deals with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hannah, yeah.
So, Cris, you brought up what if the reveal had been something more mainstream, like sexual abuse.
Yes.
A film I watched recently did that. It pulled a fast one. It's called A24 directed by Damon McCann.
Okay.
It played at both the Dublin International.
I thought you were going to mention Undertone for some reason, but anyways.
No. I won't give you spoilers because I know you want to watch that.
Yes. How considerate.
About 3 women trying to rob a credit union in rural Ireland. And it's a film in Irish. So because I'm trying to learn the language, I'm also watching content in that in the language. And when it pulled that reveal at me in the last 15 minutes of an 80-minute movie or an 85-minute movie, I was like, I'll take my shoe off. I will go wear a shoe first, then take it off and throw it at the screen. Because you cannot use these things as punctuation.
Which is the other one which used it? Abhi, ye Materialists. And even that uses this, no, as a plot point.
Yes, it does. With the person who plays the photographer in
this film,
the drama. She is a victim of sexual violence, which is then used as a this thing. My comment is not on the trivializing of sexual violence. This is something that
I'm not saying it is. I'm saying that because it's also because it's an oversubscribed topic, right? In that sense, in cinema, because it's so easy and it's unfortunately it's such a mainstream crime.
Yeah.
right? We can point fingers literally.
Yeah.
You
I
could
mean,
throw
if honestly,
stones
Varun,
and
but
you would get a
what you're
sexual abuse.
saying, what you're talking about,
Yeah,
I will heavily, and I'm just going to move on to this section because we've discussed a fair bit and it's
Ji.
fairly enough time. I would heavily recommend Force Majeure to you then because it
Okay.
creates drama from something very minuscule. In the
Okay.
sense that it's an action taken by a person in a situation where him taking that action will seem totally normal. Like to me in the drama, to me, it's like, calm the fuck down. You bullied someone.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it was that. In
Right.
Force Majeure, it's about a married couple. And this is the basic premise. An avalanche hits the place. And
Right.
remade in English, please don't watch that version.
No,
But
you're recommending the Ruben Ostlund one
Ruben Ostlund before he shit the bed
with
session.
Triangle of Sadness.
And the square, both I don't like. But anyways,
Shapes are not something he does well.
shapes, yeah, stray away from them. Please, Ruben. And anyways, no, I was saying the Avalanche basically they go to some ski resort because they're French.
Yeah.
And are they French? Are they French? I don't know. Whatever they are something.
So everybody in continental Europe skis. Don't worry.
Okay, so they go to skiing, but they're all like nice and happy and everything, and there's like wife and then the two kids and one whatever their husband. So the avalanche comes and basically the husband's first reaction is to run inside, whilst
Okay.
his wife and children are seated there also. Turns out it's a false alarm, and they were just testing something about avalanche stuff, and from there the drama sort of
Yeah.
goes out of
Okay, fair
control.
enough.
So it's built on something very minuscule, which then goes into more about gender roles and
It's like that very
performativity and all
funny.
that.
There's a very funny Instagram thing, years old,
Mm.
which is a kitchen supposedly catching fire. The father picks up the child and runs out of the kitchen, and
Yeah.
then the mother
Mother is there.
deals with the flaming pan and walks out looking pretty furious. But
Yeah.
I think I also know why the film wouldn't have gone with sexual assault, for instance,
Yeah.
is because it is, in my view at least, a misogynistic film. So it's already somewhere punching down on women with Misha,
Achha,
especially. It's like such a
Okay.
problematically dealt with strand of plot.
Okay.
I was like, dude, Charlie is the guy who instigates that entire thing. And sure, you're trying to frame it later, but you started it with this woman who's confessing to cheating,
Mm.
and then you're going the way of, it's almost like saying shooter's gonna shoot because cheater's gonna cheat because she's willing to cheat again. So,
No, but
like
I think
Hoga,
that's the whole thing, right? That
it felt like.
Zendaya is not like that, is the whole idea. That
I don't think
these
the film
people.
was driving at that. It felt like a bit like even the
So
way it
the
treats
ending is
Alana
totally
Haim's
that only,
character.
though, no? Alana
Alana
Haim is
Haim's
the
character,
bitch in it. So,
yeah, so it frames her as this alarmist woman, but as
yes.
the alarmist woman is the thing. That
Okay.
the women are
Come
the
on.
ones operating on the
I don't
extreme.
know. Come on.
I
I didn't
did
think
have that
that it
feeling.
was okay. Sure. I
I
didn't
mean,
think
I
so.
did.
Sir.
I felt like it was
I think if
only
you're
the
going
women.
for provocation, you need to do that much there.
Sure,
Also,
but then your film
a
needs to be
white
more
woman
provocative.
at that point, and white woman in this context being the villain is really not egregious. I think.
I
Uh,
mean, everybody can be the villain. That's not my point. My thing is
Everybody
that
is the villain, I
film
think, except
only
for Zendaya.
film only treats uh only looks at women from these extreme, like the irrational responses are all from the women. Like Zendaya's response to the DJ, for instance. The rational
Okay.
responses come from the guys. We're like, oh, it's okay,
Yeah,
whatever,
but they are
leave her
treated
alone.
as the butt of the joke. Also, Charlie
Sure,
is the
but
butt
like
of the joke.
yeah. But the
Hmm.
film is not. It doesn't feel potent enough to bring it together. So because
Okay.
it's falling apart as we discuss it in a way,
Hmm.
is how we are even disagreeing on some of
Hmm.
its
Sure.
points.
Again,
Like
to me, it reminded me of Eyes Wide Shut, weirdly enough, a film I don't
I
care
know
for.
what's
I
that.
know two people here really care for it. Anyways,
Aryan, just move the camera so we can see your Kubrick Mandir.
No, even Cris loves it. And I have promised
Dan
the
Lalla
Eyes
आएंगे.
Wide Shut lovers to do a Christmas episode someday to counter Maya and what their scorn against it. But anyways,
You
the
want me
whole.
not to up the programming scale, no, on this. तो करो ये अभी.
हाँ श्रीलेखा बोलिए.
When I thought like something will disrupt, though I knew. I thought it will be something like the recent film Together, which I liked very much. Very weird. I
Oh
liked it.
my God, Srilekha, no.
I
That
actually
film
want to
is
watch it.
terrible.
I
Oh my
like it.
God.
I like the absurdity of the whole thing. See, I like absurd things. Varun is keeping quiet.
No,
Everybody
Varun
is
ko to
making
chodo.
face.
I've just seen it. It's so bad.
I
Oh
looked at the
God.
poster. I think that is only like kind of weird to
I
No,
begin
it's
didn't
with.
like,
mind it. Dhruv
it's
was very
like,
mad at me that I said it
oh
wasn't that
God, it
bad.
was
Or okay,
so
okay. Let me give a
bad.
better. Oh
No, no,
man.
please,
Let
please
me give.
go ahead. I know a lot of people like it. I hated it. But anyways, you go say, why did you think about it? I mean, why does
No,
anyone
not
think about
thinking.
it? Sorry.
It's like I also thought of Midsummer to some extent.
Which is
Yeah.
more
Uh,
understandable. Hmm.
then one of Pasolini's film that is called Theorem or Theorema.
Is that just because what is it about someone entering a place and then sort of that is disrupting everything, right?
Yeah, one stranger whose entry in a house disrupts the entire household, and it also kinds of makes the character undergo self-discovery, like to their dark
Okay.
sides
Okay,
in
okay,
the
okay,
film.
got it.
Like if you
Yeah.
watch the
I
film,
mean,
it will
Pasolini is always great, right? If he's not making
yeah,
Salo.
yeah, that is
Hmm.
one of the most
I said,
disturbing
no, but I
films.
said if he's not making Salo. I don't like Salo. But anyway, sorry.
This
Go
is one of
ahead.
the most
Yeah,
disturbing films
it
I've ever
is.
watched. I have watched the
Depraved.
full film.
Varun, you should watch it.
He
What?
will. Please
You'll
don't
find
watch it.
no, you'll find like synchronicity with the characters on screen.
What together?
No, no, not
No, sir,
together.
Salo.
Salo.
Salo. Okay.
Together, तो I won't wish upon you, sir. कुछ ज़्यादा ही बुरी लगी मुझे. But anyways,
I think you and Mikhail are the only ones who are negative on my
it's
followers.
ginormously a pile of whatever.
I know
Anyways,
I was not interested in it. It was one of those early horror releases of the year, which I was like, this is crap.
sorry, Srilekha, I know you like it. Chris, you don't
It's like
mind
this.
it.
This is a Srilekha bullying exercise. This is the group
It's
manifest.
not. It's not a. Shut up.
What is that
Anyways,
gesture?
Anyway, they do that. I'm used
कौन
to
सा
it now.
gesture?
All of you.
Chris was doing something. What is this? What the fuck are you doing?
No one has visual cues here, sir. So no one will understand what you're saying.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so I
Right.
thought like
बोलो बोलो श्रीलेखा आप ही बोलो.
honestly, I thought the characters will have a devastating end, like some
वो मुझे
ending,
भी
because
लगा
it
था.
was chaotic. But it disappointed me to see
Hmm.
that they are together and all again coming back and kind of like
Hi, Dhruv.
trying to start
Voice
over.
has
Can we
changed.
start over?
No, but in this
Can
context of the
we
movie, that
start over
makes more
again?
logical sense, I think.
Which one?
Whatever you're
This whole
describing
thing.
is
Can
what
we
I
start
also
over
thought.
again?
No. The actual, like,
Oh,
she shoots them
yeah.
up,
So I,
which I would also,
yeah, that is the
theoretically.
thing.
Yeah.
हाँ मुझे
From
बहुत अच्छा
school
लगता. Then
shooter
I
to
would have
wedding
like
shooter.
big fan because I like
मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता. I
yeah.
don't know if I would
I
have
mean
said that, but sure. No,
same.
but
See,
yeah.
I am a person who likes unhappy endings also, specifically in disturbing films.
Yeah.
So so this happy ending
किसको
felt a bit
बोल रहे हो
forced to me,
bestie?
honestly.
Yeah. No, but Aryan, you make a
Really,
decent
really
point, and I think in the why you like the ending, and I just like, to me, the thought of that, the fact that they show that image never then went, and to me, it's also the provocative ending in the sense that Zendaya's character is anyways a fair bit of a cipher after a point, after she's a catalyst. But I'm like,
yeah.
if she is the catalyst, then and these are the other people who shape her now, then I guess the film is trying to say that she's still resistant to them and their thoughts, and she's strong enough in that sense. But to me, it would make total sense if these are the things that drove her to actually commit the shooting, which people would then, of course, misinterpret, I think, and say that the film is
Yeah.
racist.
See,
I would
that's
say the
why
film is even
For
more
me,
condemning of
see,
the
that's
people
why I
who
got like
Hmm.
in a very reductionist way, maybe. So that's why her childhood also, like if I consider somehow like the absent parents and her getting bullied and alienated, so and all this avenge or all these like repressed emotions she has inside her, all this comes out. I think like the gun shooting, maybe also a way we can see it's like her trying to be like gain attention or to be like
course.
noticed,
yeah.
which is basically happens in Taxi Driver also. Like, why does he does
Of
the
course.
shooting in the end? Because he wants to get noticed. He wants to be something, whether in a bad way or a good way. So
It's better to
yeah,
be famous for one day
Wants to
than
make a
whatever.
change, like
It's the
even if
king of
it's like
comedy
for all
thing,
the wrong
right?
reasons.
yeah.
And so, like for me, one of the problematic things for me would be like, again, something that not a lot of people are talking about. For me, it's like if you are giving so much great credence to making her the protagonist for something that she didn't even do, why not have at least one character who is like a friend to her, who's known her through the years when she grew
That's the
up, like
thing. No,
in
that
through
is
high
the
school.
major
Like
lacuna.
we
हाँ,
get
like the whole
informed.
idea is that she reforms, right? So I'm like, उसके बाद क्या सब छोड़
हाँ,
दिया?
I think the
That's the
idea is
thing.
that
Like
not
he
there.
doesn't have friends, which is
like
what Alana Haim's
exactly,
character gets at, right? In
exactly,
this,
exactly.
where
Yeah,
are your actual friends? And like, so
yeah,
even after the reforming, there was no
yeah.
friendships to be made, which is fine. Like, she became a better person doesn't mean she became an outgoing person or she
Yeah,
became
of course.
approachable. You know,
Yeah.
that she wanted friends. Like, she
Yeah,
could
and
have
I
been like,
suppose it
bro,
complicates
That
her
is the
personality also in the
that
sense
is
that
the
maybe
problem. No,
she is a loner
that
still
is
and like
That is
she
a
can do
problem. That's
whatever.
what
Zendaya
I'm
is
saying. Yeah.
not shown dealing with her trauma at all. Like, her
I mean,
present
dealing
self
with
is not
fuck the
Dealing with
trauma.
anything, I think. Yeah, she's
dealing with
given she
anything.
short
Yeah,
shrift.
anything. Yeah,
She
agreed
short shrift a little
completely.
bit too much.
Not
Uh,
there.
though, just to be like in interest of fairness, Robert Pattinson is terrific in this.
Very
I
good.
think
Yeah, he's
he's.
So
very
good.
PTA coded, is what I felt.
You said PTA coded, which I didn't understand what it
Because he's
means.
got
Can
that
you
whole
explain?
mumbly,
Manic.
lost boy
Uh,
kind of vibe
yeah.
where he's completely out of his depth, which is like, I can think of, sure, I can think of PTA
Leo,
characters,
of
very
course.
self-assured,
That wedding
like
speech
Reynolds
was
would come.
something. Oh
So
man,
yeah.
that wedding
Yeah.
speech.
Yeah,
Oh
wedding speeches. Yeah, even the reaction shots from the Mamadou Ati are pretty nice in that wedding
Yeah,
yeah.
speech.
he's really funny. He's actually very funny.
Who's in Yorgos's project? So I'm sure there's a synergy between
Okay.
Yorgos, Ari Aster, uh,
Borgli.
Christopher
It's
Borgli,
called the European Union.
and just bring Nathan Fielder in, and he will also contribute a lot.
But
So you can all make a film together.
it felt like he felt like the most rounded out character in the film, and
Mamadou
yet it
Ati.
felt no, sorry, Robert
Okay,
Pattinson,
Robert Pattinson. Yeah.
Charlie. Like, but it still felt like we've gone with this because he's also the most approachable.
Hmm.
Because popular media will still have you believe that women who are aloof
Hmm.
are not women you should be interacting with, even through the medium of film.
Hmm.
You won't read enough about them in literature. You will also not see too many films about. It's why I think something like Normal People broke out as much as it did.
Hmm.
Sure, Sally Rooney plays a big part, but it's because
Hmm.
Marion is really a loner, and
Hmm.
a lot of women, for instance, in that situation, felt seen, which a lot of
Hmm.
media doesn't do. Like, women
Hmm.
are always in the default Preeti Zinta setting of bubbly, chirpy, bottle of champagne type situations.
In commercial cinema, yes.
But commercial cinema is what most people consume, right? Just because
Sure, I'm
someone's
not denying
introverted
that. I'm
doesn't
not
mean
denying
they're
that.
searching for art house. So I feel like somewhere again the film dodges that thing of should we deal with it, should we not deal with it?
Fair.
Okay, fine.
I think I've seen too many great mad
Sure.
depressed women in cinema then.
I feel like I've seen enough of those as well, but I
Yeah.
also can say quite confidently that they are not made well, like on the scale that aloof men are talked about.
Really? Okay.
Or
Okay.
at least
I've
not
You
seen
know
it.
what I remember?
The Piano Teacher, Srilekha. What else?
Yes,
Yeah, no shit.
yes.
That is the taxi driver of the mad woman, depressed
Yeah.
and mental movies. So yeah.
even something like Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri,
Even
which is
Cleo
Sure.
from 5 to 7
fantastic.
of Agnes Varda. Cleo
She's
from
not
5 to 7.
mental, she's just depressed.
But yeah, but even in is that piano teacher also, she's not
Piano
He
mental.
was setting himself up to get cancelled, saying mental so loudly and like keeping it in the podcast also.
I can be
She has
beep it,
Dhruv,
please.
that character has issues from childhood. You see a mother.
I
I am not.
understand Srilekha, but she and Cleo are very different in the degrees of problems they have and the degrees of problems shown in the film very explicitly. Anyways,
I had a question about the watching experience because I laughed a lot during the film.
Yeah.
Whenever I thought the scene was funny, I laughed and I realized nobody else is laughing.
Oh yeah.
oh, was
It
it?
was
Okay.
the anti the roses. I watched it funnily enough in I think the same screen
Anti
where I
the
watched
Roses, as in?
yeah, the roses. What's his face? Jay Roach's film from
Oh,
last year.
Jesus, that's another
Where
garbage
everybody
fest.
was laughing, and I was like, "Are you all American? Because this is not
हाँ
funny."
हाँ हाँ वो प्रोजेक्ट हिल मैरी वाला एक्सपीरियंस जो मेरा था या
Probably, but
Hate that film so much. All
यस
my friends said it's a lovely film.
हाँ
All my
तो मैं तो
friends.
हुई सड़ू ना
huh.
हाँ
So I wanted to ask you guys, like, what was the because Aryan, you went with your partner, right? You went with your girlfriend to
Yeah.
watch the film.
Yeah.
Was the experience made different because
Oh
the
yeah.
relationship is supposed to be
Yeah.
similar? Okay.
Similar?
Not similar, but in a
What does
In the
that
sense,
mean?
in the context, sir, I don't mean that his
Of course, of
girlfriend tried to
course.
pick up a school or something, or that he's a doormat, for that matter. Which Charlie is.
Similar in a way that it addresses again, like laughter is when you're deflating tension, right? And I think Borgli just does that like really well. And that's why like there were scenes, despite the crowd that I watched, it was like very much into the film, constantly like laughing
I
and
mean, your crowd
responding and
was into the
reacting to
film in
the
the sense
film.
that they were sympathizing with Rachel, which is a bigger bit of a
Oh yeah.
worry.
Oh no,
But anyway,
of course. Yeah, I got that full vibe. But there were
okay.
also points where I was laughing, like cracking up, and like everyone around me was like just watching it with a straight face.
But I
I was
think this
like,
happens with me all the time with Yorgos Lanthimos films. Like I want to watch it Bugonia, and there were like five other people, and they were just like dead silent throughout, and I was just
like
like,
back when whatever few moments when we see her trying to again, like it's so well done. Like not the actual flashback when it's like, oh,
yeah.
we're seeing her get bullied, and that was like properly
Hmm.
cringing. But the scenes where we actually see her set up the webcam footage and like prepping up for the speech, and I was like cracking out, and I felt like so awkward at a point. But that's when that notification comes up on the desktop, like, oh, error or
Yes,
virus
yes,
or
the
whatever.
error thing
And that's when
happened. Yes,
everyone
yes.
laughed, and I'm like, oh, thank God. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
one of the few
No, it's
ground
good.
times
I
I can
think he's
honestly
got
respect.
his sense of humor, at least in the way it's executed, is also nice.
Oh
Like
yeah.
the shootings, like there are low hanging fruit jokes made. Like the shooting
Yeah.
is that, but I thought it was very funny. Same with the
I mean, low-hanging fruit can be funny. That's
yeah.
one of the rare moments when it works in the film, I
Yeah.
felt.
And I mean, it's also done fairly elaborately to make it discomforting in the sort of
Yeah.
smiling bit also after that, which is in the one of the trailers, I think.
I mean, and you can get into the whole a weapon can have a scope on it, which is like a viewfinder on a camera.
Yes, of course.
All of that.
The one last film we talked about, which Aryan, Cris particularly dislike, which compares one shooting and the other shooting, is Alex Garland's Civil War. So it's a different case altogether, but this treats it much more humorously. Anyways,
No,
yeah, that
I
was
was trying
fun.
to think if how because by Varun's definition, I went to watch this film with my girlfriend.
Absolutely. With your better half or worse half, depending on perspective.
Jesus Christ.
Just need Sanjeet and
I
Hemant
hope
to
your
watch it.
partner doesn't listen to this. Okay.
And then that being Dhruv, of course, but I
So more
remember both of
uncomfortable
us.
than watching the drama.
No, but I remember I know both of us audibly laughed a couple of times. I don't think there
Yeah.
were that many people in our hall. I think it was like I think
But there
couple of
were
other.
but people were amused. I don't think anyone was like walked out,
Ajay, they
which
were
was a
there to
big
watch
thing.
the film.
Actually.
I thought ये आप लोग मेकआउट वाले crowd के साथ चले गए पिक्चर देखने.
क्रिस सिर्फ उस टाइम पे जाता है पिक्चर देखने.
तो
Unfortunately मुझे
9:30
नहीं
सुबह
पता.
सुबह कौन मेकआउट करने जा रहा है बताओ.
मुझे क्या पता बट सुबह
जिनको
9:30
रात
बजे
को
सिनेमा
मेकआउट
कौन
नहीं
जाता
करना
है?
मिलता. सर मैं
Anyways.
7:30 बजे जाने वाला आदमी हूँ, तो आप मेरे सामने मत ही बोलो.
Okay, fine.
Morning
Anyways,
7:30.
Yeah.
what did you go and watch at 7:30?
Dunkirk.
Dunkirk.
Wow. Why?
I watched Oppenheimer at 9 a.m. first show.
Because in back then in Maharashtra, the timings for early morning, the prices for early morning shows were cheaper. So you
वो
got
तो
the
यहाँ
same
पे भी
Okay,
होती
okay.
हैं. But
So you got the same seats, good seats for
okay,
110 as opposed to 200
Oh wow.
rupees.
how does it matter?
Which
Dunkirk
makes
आपने
it
वैसे भी स्क्वायर बॉक्स में तो देखी होगी.
इंटरवल के साथ. बट जब मेरे पास महीने में 2500 रुपए थे, तब दैट वाज
हाँ,
द बेस्ट दैट कुड बी डन.
स्क्वायर बॉक्स से अच्छा तो नहीं देखते.
निकल के
Anyways, so
ब्रंच भी कर सकते हैं
I
same
missed.
price.
I mean, there's a 70 screening in London in a couple of days, but I'm not going to be able to go. The
okay.
they've only got the first row left. मेरे को किलियन मर्फी का मतलब चेहरा elongated नहीं देखना है फिर से.
Wrong audience. There are people who would love to do that.
From that angle.
From any angle. Anyways, I think is that enough about the drama, or do you want more points to throw around? The silence is deafening, so I assume that everything has been said.
It's like after shooting.
Again,
Wow.
एक चीज I wanted to say, like again, I was like debating whether to say this out loud
बोल
or
दो,
not because
बोल
it's
ही
a
दो सब.
very Amartya and Varun coded
Oh God.
allegory. मतलब कहीं और ही ले जाऊंगा मैं.
अच्छा कहाँ
Okay,
ले
so
जा
for
रहे हो
me,
बताओ.
the only thing I would end with is like the reason why ending works for me is like it's ultimately all his films, especially even this one, like despite all the stupid, cringy flashbacks, things that we didn't need to know, despite that, it's like second chances. Like, look at me for what I am, and let's start over. Beautiful running gag that keeps coming up at various points in the film, where they want to like keep, or they want to deflate the
Start
tension
over.
despite knowing they
Role
want to
play,
start over,
start
right? And even
over.
the
Yeah.
ending is about that. For me, this film, like, had Borgli made this after, had the discourse about his blog come up before the film even started to go into production, it would have been very icky for me to watch this. It's the same way
Sure.
I feel iffy watching a lot of Alan films.
Hmm.
Again, this is where I'll bring up a comparison, which again, stay with me, right?
Okay.
When someone, the reason why this is not iffy is because the film is out there, and now the discourse is very. You can talk about the merits or the demerits of it. कि मतलब जानबूझ के you're reverse engineering it in such a way that it aligns with the release of the film, and then like it just becomes a victim of its own setting and everything. For me, when I watch someone like Samay Raina, like stay with me. I know, guys. Come up with a special after like doing a world tour, addressing that, oh, main bichara hu. See, this is why like I was victimized, even though like I played this. I'm not dumb. Like I played this dumb character of myself for all these years on YouTube, on these shows, like at government panels, whatever it may be, so that I can be liked and approved by everyone. Fuck you, I'm not doing that anymore. This is who I am. I was only playing a certain character. For me, that's like shrewd in the most problematic way. That this is such an easy pass. You're like deliberately, that's the bad kind of provocation for me. You're evoking and provoking all this, oh, meri maa, oh, mera baap, aisa, wo Kashmir se
By the way,
bhaag
I have no
oh,
idea about this. I don't follow
I know, and
comedy
this is very
films,
much
so
like active in the discourse right now. So for me, that is shrewd. Like you are doubling down on what you did without
shrewd as in
owning
like
up.
it's crassly shrewd.
It's cunning.
Crass,
It's cunning.
yeah, it's cunning in a very like, oh, I thought I was very passive to you कि तू तेरा chess खेल रहा है, तू तेरा बकवास misogynist jokes मार रहा है, तेरा India's Got Latin पे. But
Incel
now
and
it's
whatever.
like exactly, which is fine. You have your own audience. Like my cousin, so many of my friends are like, oh, we'll pay $80 to watch Samay Raina live, even though we cannot even afford groceries right now. I'm like, जाओ तुम लोग MSG में देख के आओ, गए हैं मेरे काफी दोस्त. For me, that is the kind of art and artist debate. Again, I'm only bringing this up because we started this discussion with that discourse, which is, for me, it's equating them at the same time. For me, that is the true merit. You cannot just draw conclusions based on what you are going into a film.
It's about narrative spinning, no? About optic spinning and how to sort of move around your thing.
It is, and about how, as an artist, you're reacting to that. For me, Borgli is not reacting to that. But now, now that the discourse is out there, I will really be watching his future projects with a keen eye. That too, that is a real test as an artist. For me, that's where I'll stand. That's how I distinguish between artists who are actively making films, responding or reacting to the discourse that's thrown at them, mud, praise, whatever it may be, versus someone like Borgli who's like, because I see no difference in his style. He's very, since his first film that I watched like 3-4 years back, to the drama, fairly consistent in what he wants
Sure. So
to
it's part and parcel of
show.
his work only. So it's not like
Exactly.
sure.
Exactly.
Understood. Solid point
Fair.
and solid defense only.
Though I am very insulted that you think I'd watch Samay, Raina.
You guys watch comedy specials though.
I watch
anything
intelligent,
from him.
interesting comedians.
I used to watch Kenny Sebastian a lot, but I don't watch anymore now.
I watch
It's all
his
like Socrates to Dhruv.
episodes now, but again, like
Huh?
What?
Like Srilekha said Kenny Sebastian with such familiarity, so I said it's all Socrates to Dhruv.
I mean, I have like
Socrates is more palatable to
zero
Dhruv.
knowledge
Reverence.
about. I don't do stand up. Well, I don't do stand up comedy in the sense that I actually don't do it, except here, and I just can't fathom the concept of it, and I've never laughed with it mostly. So, anyways, not that it makes any difference. But congratulations to Mr. Raina, what is it?
I
On
have
his
never watched
newfound
any before, after, nothing I watched, so I have no idea.
for his newfound popularity. I saw like he got
Sir,
His
it's
popularity is
2 days, 36 million views.
something like that. I saw
मेरे
मेरे YouTube
हाँ, मतलब good for you.
like recommended. I'm like
same.
कहाँ
In my
से
YouTube
भाई
also.
मैं तो आज तक
That's
comedy
because
web
it's
पे नहीं
also on
click
your
किया.
Letterboxd. His comedy specials on
Yeah.
on Letterboxd as well. So
I saw a bunch of like our people. Like I don't want to like ऐसा मुझे sound.
no,
They're like
out there,
5 stars.
Dhruv will censor it.
5
Bunch
out
of
of 5. I'm like, I'm not.
Are
I
people
mean,
as in like?
none of these guys are over here. But I'm like 5 out of 5. I'm like, never mind.
अमरते ही होगा फिर.
नहीं. He's not. Nah, come on. I don't expect that.
Ah,
वो
you-
safe खेलेगा मेरी तरह 3.5.
He's
Three
watched
and a half.
it. So I mean,
3.5 is the
Oh, he is.
cautionary thing, no? Essentially, where it's like
What he used to comedy on?
Centrist
Where
है वो.
was it funny before?
किसी ने नहीं सुना.
I have not watched
Srilekha.
enough to have an opinion, honestly.
Hmm.
But
I
he's
am
Did
for
you
the
watch?
guys
again. I'm
where
like,
he's not for me.
yeah, I was. That's why I'm saying it. It's like
Hmm.
very shrewd. I'm like, oh wow, like I did not know you had this in you, but very well done. Honestly, it's like the
Artist
Dhurandhar
of
effect for me.
convenience.
But
Yeah, like, you're
he's
so
always been a punching down kind
Dhurandhar
of
Ah,
film,
okay.
one film.
which is like just boring.
I just
ये
went
इसलिए भी
because my
डाला,
friend
इससे
booked
थोड़ा
without telling.
What?
action भी बढ़ेगा.
धुरंधर.
मैं-
अच्छा नहीं
Dhurandhar
वो
2.
उसके नहीं वो नहीं हो गया. हो गया खत्म.
Please don't bring your Dhurandhar trauma over here. हम already
हाँ.
काफी trauma.
हाँ. True.
4 घंटे बैठे हैं. तकिया भी नहीं लेके
मतलब
पीछे
मैं नहीं हूँ. मैं आप लोगों को सुन के ट्रॉमेटाइज हो गया हूँ धुरंधर के बारे में, which is a
सर
different
मैं
story.
ऑडियंस के साथ ट्रॉमेटाइज हो गया. वो every fucking
But the audience was whistling and like clapping. I'm like, what are you?
This all is
They
not
were
going
not-
in, guys. This all is not going in. बोलते रहो. मैं खत्म बोल चुका हूँ.